and welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Unrise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. I'm joined all the way from Texas, Steve Kuclo.
That's right, in the house. Good morning.
Steve, I thought it was an urban myth that humans were up at 7:30 in the morning, but you're living proof.
That's right. I follow the sun. That's my, the sun's up at 6:30 or 7 or 7:30. So, but for Giles, you're my sunshine today. So
he's such a flatterer, Steve, how's things with the Kooks then, mate?
Doing well. We just had our third show of the year, the Kuclo Classic in Yellowstone. So that's going good, kind of growing our own bodybuilding shows. Just a lot of good things, coming in the pipeline. Just, I think with this last year and a half of COVID, kind of making you rethink how you do business and life, and things have been going in the right direction. So how was the show then? Was it big success as it always is? Yeah, that's a different market in that area. But it's, just to be able to put on a show and have competitors be really appreciative and kind of just, they were just happy that people are out there, and I was guest posing at the show, and they were really appreciative of just having it. And I think when you kind of get that sense of man, I maybe impacted some of their lives or be able to help them in any way or inspire them, I think that's a win no matter what.
Yeah. So is it one or two shows you have?
I have three now. I have one the big one's in Dallas. That one's every May. Then I have the show in Michigan, and then a show in Wyoming.
Do you do them by yourself, or do you collaborate with other promoters, or?
The Dallas show I do by myself. The other two I do with another co-promoted.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right, okay then. Well, we haven't spoken since the sensational showing at the Arnold Classic. Yeah. Let's talk about that. How do you feel? You happy with what you delivered?
I was really happy with what I brought to the stage. I think at the end of the day, that's really all you can do is, be happy with what you bring to the stage. Knowing you did all your homework, you trained as hard as you could. You ate every meal you needed to. And, you walk away from that. I walk away from those shows knowing what, I left it all on the table, and what, how the chips fall, then that's going to be it. So, there's some disappointment when you want to always place higher. You always want to win. I think any competitor wants to win. I felt the lineup was really strong. Guys looked really good. Was a little bit different stage this year. And I know a lot of the pictures that were out there were kind of deceiving. They were very dark. They didn't show a lot of the detail that a lot of the guys had. And as fans that weren't there, I think it's confusing, or maybe, they get the wrong picture of what guys really look like. And then people that are there kind of see, it's like they always say, you have to be there to see it in real time, to see how the guys really stack up next to each other. I think, consider one of the front runners going into the show. You kind of knew the guys that you were going to have to compete against. Nick Walker, kind of the dark horse, or not really dark horse, just the new guy that everybody was just kind of is he going to show up? And he showed up. He made me a believer in his, package he could bring. And everybody else was, fantastic. So, I knew it was going to be a hard show. Olympia 2 weeks after, it was going to be, guys, it's pretty much going to be Olympia minus a few guys, besides Rami and Curry. Ended up, I think, I got third place.
Yeah.
After prejudging, the final call out of prejudging was Nick and I. So I felt like it's just, I was a first or second shot going into finals, and then kind of got a little bit surprised that, ended up third place. But, it was obviously the goal is always to get to Olympia every year. Just missed it in the Texas show, and then came close at the Arnold. So, it stung a little bit not being at the Olympia, but knowing, okay, we'll reset going to next year, do what we have to do, and get back on the Olympia stage and make a big splash.
I think that prejudging version of you was the biggest and fullest package I've ever seen that you've ever brought.
Yeah. And it wasn't like we were trying to overly push fullness or everything. It's just like my body was just primed and felt really good. I was like 286 Saturday morning.
Wow.
Going on stage. Like
Wow.
it's yeah, my body, and like I said, it's, people are like, oh, I need to come down. I was like, listen, I've done all my cardio. I've trained my ass off. I've starved for
Yeah.
12 weeks, and what's going to happen, whatever my body decides is going to do, so I can't say, hey, drop 5 more pounds, like,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do it where, I'm trying to pull so much water that it ends up being just a flat mess. And then, you're risking health issues. And just, I mean, you see what some guys are doing, and trainers are telling their clients that they're going a little bit too far with some things. So I always been a more conservative kind of guy when it comes to that kind of stuff, and just let my body, work for itself, and not try to force it in directions it's not supposed to.
It was very exciting though in that final call out when you and Nick. It was a real like, oh my God, because I've never seen that package on you. That all I can remember is that your upper chest and your shoulders literally look, and you needed a side chest, and your hands on hip, most muscular. Everything looked like it was about to burst. It did.
Yeah. And that's the thing is because I'm such a big frame and big body, it takes so much food just to kind of fill it out and hold it. So as and as you're posing, and there's the stresses of just like the nerves and everything that's going on, I've always had a tendency sometimes to flatten out or not maintain that kind of fullness through the whole prejudging, especially how much they pose us and run us through the rounds. I mean, we're up there a while, and I mean, at that point, your metabolism's cranking. You're just burning through food. I mean, everything you throw at it, it's just going. So the goal was to try to keep the fullness through it, because the feedback from the Texas show was I faded as the prejudging went on. It was a long prejudging. We did 3 rounds of comparisons right out of the gate, and then they brought us back out for another 3 rounds. So I was like, okay, we need to make sure we're ready, we're full, and we carry that through all the judging rounds.
Yeah.
And I felt we did that. And like you said, when it was Nick and I up there, it was you're looking at 2 different physiques.
Completely different. Yeah.
You have like mass monster, Nick, who's probably 5 inches shorter than I am. And then you have myself, which is a taller frame, a little bit, more X frame. And it was, so, I mean, as a judge sport, it just, what do you like? Do you want the more mass monster? Do you want a little bit more aesthetic? So,
well, it's like Ramy and Hadi. It's like people saying Hadi should have won. It's like, well, they're 2 completely different physiques. One's like tall, like you, and then you got Nick, who's like Hadi, But it's I found that with you, it's like the tall guys, maybe over like 260, they can go very flat. I've seen Dennis Wolf at the start of the prejudge and look sensational. By the end of it, it's like he just shrinks away. Almost like he really flattens out. And I find that with the guys over 260, Akeem, they can look sensational and then they just fade. And other guys, they're the opposite. Right.
And that's the battle we fight as the bigger guys. I think, and a flat look on me doesn't look as good as, I mean, I need to be full and where it's just the muscles pushing against the skin and it creates that real hard, dense look. If I come in flat or just, not full enough, I look like I'm 8 weeks out, and you're like, man, he just that whole pop just goes away.
Yeah.
So I mean, guys like Dexter and Phil, like those guys just always look insane. They got that, the genetics that just carry that no matter what they did. They could have probably just ate, broccoli and showed up and been full of shit and looking insane. But I know what I have to do for my body, and I think we really we brought together a really good package. I'm really happy with this year for sure.
So, given that you did have a different look, I thought at the Arnold this year, did you push the kind of the loading process more this year to bring that kind of fuller package, or?
Not really. Like, because I felt like my body's really primed this year, going into taking the rest of 2020 off after doing the Arnold in 2020.
Yeah.
And then the beginning of 2021, just more just training, kind of ramping things up as I'm going. My body felt really primed. It was just ready to grow. So when I started prepping and training hard and getting all my meals in like I do on my prep, my body was just growing and growing. Like as I was getting closer to the show, my weight kept creeping up, and I text Gina and I'm like, I know I'm not cheating. I'm not doing my cardio. I'm doing everything I need to do, but my weight keeps going up. Like I was growing going into the show. So that plays a role in obviously, how big I am in fullness, and it requires more food. We didn't push it where it was like we're just going to force as much as we could, but we know we got to get it to a point where it's really full in order to maintain that through the judging rounds, and especially a one-day show where you have prejudging and finals in one. I
mean,
so I love that because you're done in one day. It's not like you're trying to hold a condition. But the flip side of that coin is having to get right back on stage in 3 hours and make sure that, okay, after just getting your ass kicked at prejudging, you're not flattening out going into finals, and that you got to, bring a tight package to finals, and especially the way they judge the finals now. And it's not just whatever happened in prejudging is it. So,
yeah. I think you definitely peaked at prejudging, because that was, I saw your posing routine and the finals, and you did look good, but you really kind of just, that cup, like 2 or 3%, I thought at the prejudging, I thought you looked absolutely sensational.
Thank you. I agree. I think they were, the finals look, the lighting changed a little bit. I'm not trying to blame lighting on this, but I know, like, I posted some pictures that were before prejudging and then before finals. 2 different looks. Before prejudging was a little bit fuller. The finals was a little bit crisper. And it just, people said there was comments like, I faded, or I came in. So, I mean, that wasn't the case. I mean, if you want to, that's where I said, you got to kind of be there to see the difference from pictures to in person.
Yeah. Mate, you missed it, Olympia. Sorry to say that.
I know.
Oh, I was like, no.
Just not the same. It's not the same without me.
Without the big kook.
That's right. The big smile on stage.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually, there was a lot of kind of discussion boards and on Instagram and stuff. They were saying, there was an argument for you getting the special invite, but would you have taken it?
To be honest, no. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like that's something that's got to be earned. And I just don't feel like, taking I know Rami got a special invite last year and ended up winning, and that's amazing. But to me, just the way kind of the cards fell this year with, placings and kind of, going from second to third at the Arnold, I was like, you know what? This year may not be the year that we push it. Let's just, take our licks and move on to next year. So that was my thought on it.
I'm glad you said that, because there wasn't a lot of people, even though we all wanted you at the Olympia, there were people like, well, look, you shouldn't take it, because you did leave it very late to qualify, and it was kind of, you were so close at Texas. I mean, you could have won it. No one would have argued. But right. I think and obviously Rami last year, he had, he tested positive for COVID and couldn't compete in Alicante, so they gave it to him, and and I think that was that's a really good. I'm pleased you said that, because everyone would want to see you at the Olympia, but it's just no. Thing is, if they keep offering it to bloody Kai Green, they could
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I sound like I'm bashing Kai again. No, so what's next for you then, mate?
I'm going to wait to see what happens with the schedule coming out. Usually it's within probably another month and a half, it'll release. And I like to somewhat keep shows together, not compete too long over the year. Obviously, that becomes stressful in life, and it takes a toll on things. So I think the Arnold's always one on my radar, and if it's going to be in March or whenever they decide for 2022, that's one of the shows that, I keep saying that I want to win. And then we'll see the other shows. Obviously, if it lines up, I'd love to do Indy or New York or the Texas show again. I mean, I got some redemption on the Texas show. I got to come win that title.
It's your backyard.
And then I'm hearing rumors. The Olympia is going to be moved back to Vegas, but later in the year. So we shall see. Do
you know what's happening with Athleticon? Because that seems to have gone very quiet. I've put the feelers out, but I've not got any response back yet.
I haven't heard anything, but I think after there was going to be 2020 when it was going to be launched, but obviously with COVID and restrictions and people not getting out as much like they were 2 years ago, I think it's they're probably just weighing out their options and trying not to lose their ass on something that big, because you're putting a lot of money out.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be great though? Because I heard April 2022 originally, so it'd be great if the Arnold was in March, Athleticon was in April. Maybe the Indy. When's the Indy?
Indy's always like they moved it last year to it's always kind of the end of March, early April. They moved it to May this last 2021 in order to kind of keep it with all the shows that were starting to line up. It was like Indy, New York, so they all kind of bunched some shows together there.
Yeah. So then, hate to do this, but I want to get your thoughts on the Olympia, please.
Yeah, where are we going with the thoughts?
Where should we start? What was because you were there? What was the event like, and what was your feelings?
Actually, I was not there.
I thought you were.
No, I ended up just kind of watching online, seeing a lot of the pictures, and it's kind of one of those things. It's like, man, do I want to go? Is it going to bother me? Am I going to be like, damn it, I need to be here? So I was like, I'll just kind of watch from a distance. But I thought it was a really good show. Guys looked phenomenal. I think, the production side of it, Jake Wood and the Olympia staff, they do a great job putting on a heck of a show. But I think it could have gone a lot of ways. And knowing the history of the sport, knowing how the Olympias typically run, as a champion, as the champ going in, Rami had kind of the, a little bit step ahead going into it. Like I always say, like, you got to knock the champ out. You just can't like beat him or tie him kind of thing. So Rami showed up and he did what he had to do. It was like the year Phil lost to Sean. Like, he left the door open. Sean came in real sharp. Phil maybe missed his mark a little bit, and that was enough to move up. But Rami showed up, I think, I knew he was probably going to get the W. Brandon made a lot of improvements. I thought his legs came up a lot. I think he looked great. And Hadi's just a freak. I think Hadi's just that physique that you kind of look at him and you're like, that's just a little dude. And then he starts posing and he looks like a monster. And conditions insane. And it's he's a freak. And props to Hunter Labrada showing up, getting, fourth place and looking really good. Nick Walker did a fantastic job too. Went from Arnold to Olympia, and that's not an easy task because he nailed the Arnold, and going into Olympia was it's hard to kind of peak twice so good. So him and Matt did a great job.
Did you I saw a post, Chad Nichols posted it yesterday, and he said it was a picture of Rami on his prep a few months out, whatever, and he said from December 19th to July the 1st or something, Rami didn't train once.
Wow. 7
months with no training. So he said he literally did that on a 3-month prep from scratch. I don't know what to think or what to feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's a lot of, it's like believing everything you see on the news. I don't know if that's true or not, but it might be. The guy has enough mass where he probably could have did that. Maybe have to heal up his body a bit.
Yeah.
So without knowing the circumstances or reasonings behind that, I think it's a possibility. But I know a lot of people say that, and it may just be not training like at a high level where you're trying to lift, break records for your lifts and pushing the food. It may just be like, I'm gonna go exercise more than try to become 300-pound monster.
He's doing a Kevin Navrone, isn't he?
Yeah, right. It's kind of the way I do. I train year round. I love training. It's just part of what I love to do on a daily thing. But that's why I do, like, I grow going into the shows. I feel I rest my body in the off season enough. I'm not trying to push supplements. I'm not trying to push my weight up. I actually am lighter than I am when I compete in the off season, and then I start bringing my weight back up, eating more food, doing what I have to do, and it just, my body responds really well. I think it's a lot healthier and feels a lot better than the other way it used to be. The old mentality, get as big as you can, 320 pounds, barely, you have a hard time breathing, walking up the stairs. I'm like, that's not that good. So a little bit healthy. I'm thinking, obviously we got to think longevity here and the best way to do it.
That does seem to be the difference between the 90s and now. Guys like, what do you go down to in the off season?
In maybe the 270s, high 270s, but I hold that weight easy. Like, that's kind of an easy weight to hold. It's not like it's just. And I even pull back my food a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 meals a day, just given everything. Your digestive system takes a hit when you're training, eating 7 meals a day. Your nervous system, your skeletal system, everything is you beat the crap out of yourself. So you need to give your body some time to kind of normalize, get back to a good state, and then when it's time to get on the gas, your body's ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think you seem to have a good metabolism as well. Because, and the thing is, I've always said this before. I've said this many times. You look very healthy all the time, even when you're right before a show. You don't look like your eyes are white. They're not red. Some. I've been next to some guys. I tell you what, and you just think, holy shit, he's just ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm. I get it, absolutely.
So yeah. So how many do you think Ramy can win then? Silly question, maybe.
Man, I think a few guys are. He's to me like the guy that really separated himself from the pack in the last Olympias. Phil was like the guy that you're like, shit, that guy could just keep going if he shows up. Ramy, some guys are, a lot of guys are nipping at his heels, and it's really, if he could keep it together with his, Ramy's just balls of muscle everywhere. It's insane, but. I think some clean physiques, like a hottie physique. Brandon's nipping at his heels. A lot of the up-and-coming guys, really are. I want to put myself in there too.
Of course,
but could definitely make a run at becoming the next Mr. O. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, actually, to be honest, I don't even like asking that. I'm sorry I asked that question. That was a silly question to ask, actually. But going back to the Arnold Classic, I think that is a title I could see you definitely winning. 100%. I think you, because I think you put it in my mind last year when you said I really want to win the Arnold Classic, and you've jumped from fifth, fourth, was it?
Fourth.
Now you're third. You were second at prejudging, and oh my god! It's like, also, has Amanda calmed down now yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, bless her. I've really felt for her because imagine being like doing commentary. And because it's just because I actually Patrick Tour, Ian Vallier's coach, was messaging me, and he said, what do you think? And I said, well, I think he's got to worry about Justin Rodriguez if he slips. I think, and then Justin kind of came back night show, and he was actually worse. So I was thinking, I said, I think top two's a lock, but I think you've got to worry about Justin sneaking in third and Ian jumping, falling down to fourth. Honestly, it was a huge shock when that happened. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah, and on stage, from my perspective, because you're kind of looking out into the audience, you see, you're hearing the buzz of people, they're cheering for their guys and stuff. And then when they had the top three out and then they announced me third, you just kind of heard everybody go, oh, and it got quiet. Like, they're like, it just blindsided people, and including my fan base and family and stuff that were there. So, because you're going into an expectation. Okay, we're top two. It's gonna, let's see what happens. And you kind of got that. Was like, okay, that's the surprise. But
on the flip side, I think it's good that it shows that the judges are paying attention. They're rejudging everyone. They're not making a decision as soon as you walk out. And so it gives a chance for guys to move up, and what I mean. I think it could pay in your favor next time. Do you know what I mean? It could be
for sure.
So when there's a top, because usually when the top two, it's like Brandon and Ramy came out. That's the top two. They've decided. It shows that there's anything can happen even just a few hours later when you're all rejudged in the confirmation round.
Yep. No, absolutely. I think that it gives guys a chance to make up ground. Like you said, like at prejudging, I saw Justin look phenomenal. I thought like he could potentially be third. Yep. So I was, and then, Ian looked good, but I think, so it was kind of that like, man, there's a lot of ways this can go. And in order to kind of seal your fate, I think the finals showing up and being judged like it is gives an opportunity for guys to move up. And obviously we saw that at the Arnold.
Yeah, it's a bummer for you, but great for other people.
That hurt, man. It hurt the pocketbook a little bit too. So.
Yeah. Oh well. Also, it's the Legion Sports this weekend. Do you know? Have you got any? Who's your thoughts on who could win, or who are you rooting for?
I think if Sergio shows up like he needs to, I think he could walk away with that show for sure. He's got the size, he's got the shape. And I think he just a little sharper than the Arnold. I think he could win this. Reagan looks really good. He's still a young physique too. I think he needs a few more years of just kind of adding a little bit of density to himself, and I think he can be a real threat. So that's kind of my picks going into it. 1-2.
What about Cedric?
Cedric's one of those guys. He shows up like he needs to. There's no question. He's got the show.
Yeah.
And I know like he was fighting some injury going, before the Arnold. So hopefully that didn't hinder his prep now. And yeah, Cedric's always a threat. I see him on the list. You're like, oh shit, Cedric's doing it. So
Yeah. I'm just
like,
yeah. I'm just gutted you weren't in this show because I wanted to see you stood next to Sean Clarida. I just think it'd be an amazing photo, like when Lou Ferrigno came out with Flavio back in '93. So you pat him on the head.
That's hilarious. What is Sean doing the Open?
Yeah.
No. Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's doing the Open. Yeah, I interviewed him last the day the news was released, and at the end he says, "Giles, keep an eye on my feed tonight." He said, "There's some big news coming," and he kind of like give me like a wink, and I was like, "What?" And then I couldn't believe it. So he's jumping into the Open next to. So that'll be interesting. Him next to Cedric and Regan, and those 6-foot guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's gonna be that'll be a funny. I remember when Jose Raymond did that at about it had to be 5 years ago or more. He kind of went into some Open shows.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose is just a ball of muscle. He's not very tall, but it was, you kind of have your 5'10" to 6-foot guys up there, and then you have like your 5'5" guys. And it's kind of like tall, small, tall.
Well, thing is, Hadi can't be a few more than 10 pounds over 212. So he's really kind of, do you know what I mean? He's kind of more suited for the 212 really than the Open, but he's doing very well as an Open.
Yeah, because he's just, I think it all plays in proportion for him really well. I think, he's not a very tall guy, so he's not like he's got to be 260 on stage plus.
Yeah.
It's just, his proportions fit well, his symmetry, and obviously he brings a ton of muscle and condition, so it just really works for him.
Yeah. Well, Steve, like I said, I'll say it again. You were Ms Olympia, mate, and I was, like I said, it was so, just, yeah. But at the end of the day, I think you've definitely improved. I think you delivered what you said you were going to deliver.
Thank you.
I think that's the most important thing because, like I said, the prejudging, I was watching the live stream. I was like, "Holy shit, this is the best Steve Kuclo I've ever." It was just that side chest and your hands your hands on hip most muscular, like your shoulders, your chest, everything was just. It was just you could see you'd really put the work in and you showed massive improvements.
Thank you, Giles. I know to get your stamp of approval is always one that I look forward to, and I appreciate the feedback always.
And finally, you've got Amanda Latona fangirl in the corner, mate. Is she there, or is Amanda there?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh no.
Come on, you got me. What else do you need?
Well, I'm happy that you're here, but her over there.
I'm pretty too.
She's a Steve and Amanda fangirl. So, right, and Steve's fantastic to catch up, mate. And I just really hope that Arnold's in March, and I'll be out there as well because travel restrictions. Because I'd have had to have gone. I'd have to be away from home for a month. I'd have to go to 2 weeks and then because I had Ronnie, I was supposed to be staying with Ronnie for a few days doing some filming in Orlando, so in the Olympia, so I had to miss it all. So but I'll be at the Arnold, mate, and I want to see you on stage taking that big ass Arnold trophy.
I like it. We're going to do that. That's going to be the plan right now, and then we'll see how the schedule lies, but that's the plan.
And the big check.
That's right.
All right, then, mate. Give my best to Amanda and also Mama Cook. Mama Cook, because I know she's watching because she watches all our interviews. So,
watched all of them.
And I'll get flamed on DMs if I don't give it a shout out. All right, then, mate. Thank you so much for coming on Global Muscle, and I'll speak to you very soon.
You got it. Thank you, Giles.
Thank you, Steve. Bye bye. Yeah. So let's go on to 212 because I want to get your thoughts on the top three in particular because that was you had we've now got 3 212 winners: Kamal, Sean Clarida, and Derek Lunsford. What was your feelings when you first saw those 212s walk out?
Okay, first coming on the stage, they were doing individual poses. I've seen Derek improved, but again, not condition that I was hoping for. You would, yeah, for sure. That first impression, right? Like, ooh, yeah, he's better, he brought it, but not what we were expecting. Well, that's why, because from the front, even when I talked to Honey Rainbow, right? He says, yeah, he still needs that hardness and maturity right here.
Yeah.
So when you actually look at him from the front, he could not be compared to Kamal and Sean Clarida, hardness-wise, condition-wise from the front. Especially he does that vacuum and looks crazy. But when you do vacuum, You lose that little detail, small little abs that makes you appear more conditioned. But when he turned to the back, Derek Lansford has a crazy, striated glute, striated hamstring, and much, harder and leaner from the back. So when they eventually start, so next one in line was Kamal. Kamal came out. I was shocked. I said, this is the best Kamal I've ever seen in my life. Razor sharp, beautiful physique, cuts like, oh my God, this is 50 years old.
Yeah.
Improved. But many people have areas that don't match the remainder of the body. So for him, first, he doesn't have a flaring quads, so doesn't have that X factor, right? It doesn't have a really wide lats. So he has a nice flow, everything, but to have extreme, like Derek has, like waist is here and lats are there.
He's like 70 degrees on his lats.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wings.
It's like, not as prominent V-taper. And then not as prominent lateralis sweep of the thighs. And then when he turns around, hamstring from the side view and especially from the back view was not that same. You see, when everything is razor sharp lines all over the place and then you don't have it, it's a kind of, and then you see quads are not flaring from the back poses, back, the biceps, back lat spread. So I could see that this is where Derek would beat Kamal. And here comes the champ, Clarida. Oh my God. Yesterday, he was complete shocker for me. For me, he, same thing like I said about Nick Walker winning Arnold Classic in 10 seconds. For me, even though they said there was a battle last year between Kamal and Sean, and there was 1 point, and for me, when Sean came, started posing granite hard, full as a house, round, striated, yes, narrow, that's his genetics, and he expanded himself tremendously. But he had that Ronnie Coleman-ish wow look, like just bursting full of the eyes. And so this time again, now I'm thinking, okay, it's definitely show between Kamal, between Sean and Derek. And then when you see them next to each other, so now you analyze, boom, front relax, Derek opens up and has a V taper. There's like, from a bodybuilding aspect, he has ideal frame. Most ideal, I would say, in the whole bodybuilding. The Derek Lansford has the most prominent V taper. So, front lower biceps. Oh my God.
Incredible.
I mean, really, this is this flaring quads. I told him I don't like that he bends his knees too much. I think that his legs would look better if they're separated and good anyway. He kind of looks like he's riding the horse.
Do you know what? Do you know what? We never got to see the best ever version of Flex Lewis, because what Flex Lewis probably looked his best at 225. Do you think Derek's always going to stay as a 212? Because I think he's someone that could probably, his best physique is not as 212. It's probably a lot heavier.
No, I think, listen, winning the Olympia title was his dream for now, 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years, yeah.
4. And
actually 4, but, first time he was going against Flex Lewis, so, you knew you couldn't get it. Flex Lewis, like you said, as great as he looked in 212, is going to look dramatically better in open division when he is not limited with making the weight and he fills up that frame. And we saw Flex in conditioning. We saw Derek Lansford much bigger, conditioned. So I think that open division is going to be his aim, but he'll probably take a couple of titles here, maybe 3 until he decides to move on, because being the best in the world, being Mr. Olympia, doesn't matter which category, that's Mr. Olympia. That's pinnacle of the sport. You're number 1 in the world.
Sean Corrida said he was going to, because he was 177 pounds last year. He said he was 8 pounds heavy this year. Do you think he was noticeably bigger this year or better?
I didn't say that, but again, I was shocked last year.
Yeah,
I was so
dramatic, wasn't it?
Wow, right?
Yeah.
And he brought it for me very similar packaging. Now I didn't see comparison, 2020, 2021. to say who was better. But maybe he was a little bit bigger, and still, Sean's conditioning was phenomenal. Sean's conditioning and Kamal's conditioning beat Derek's conditioning. That's no question.
Really?
Oh, I mean, come on, Giles. It's their conditioning is not at the same level.
Right.
Trust me on that one. It's not on the same level. But Derek brought good enough conditioning, that now his attributes of his physique, the structure, shape, all these stunning poses would lead him to the victory. But, analyze, especially from the front. Look any front relax, frontal biceps, front lat spread. Look to the chest, shoulders, density, striations, the vascularity, thin skin bursting to Sean and Kamal's physique, and then Derek. And to be fair, like with Honey Rainbow was talking to me, and I mentioned this to him, like, listen, he needed a little bit more here. I said, well, that's not conditioning factor. It's like a little bit, a few more years of hardening and getting that muscle maturity. For me, there was still, conditioning-wise, he could still be better from the front.
Wow.
From the back,
okay.
It was the next level.
Okay, can we go on to Classic?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Classic. I want to get your feelings on the top three.
Yeah, so I said this before the show that Chris is so far ahead, and the idea is the only way he can lose is if he falls asleep and doesn't go to the contest at all, because of that dominance last year. Last year he was so dominant. Yeah. It was not a question. It was same thing. First, second, he was on the stage. Didn't need to do anything. Just standing there, he won. And then when he started posing, oh my God, back double biceps was so improved. It was shocker. The side chest phenomenal. Front double biceps. He doesn't have a great arms, but front double biceps looks so good. He was so dominant last year. This year, he was notched down, not as dominant, to the point that now I think he was even maybe worried with improved both Terence and Breon. They were both at their best. Would it be a room for surprise? I didn't think so. Even after the prejudging, I said Chris is winning, but Chris is not winning so dominantly that there is like packed in the back. He's going to walk away. Yes, I think the judges gave him straight first places. It's still Chris Bumstead structure and impressiveness. But, last year, back double biceps was no-brainer. This time, back double biceps, possibly both guys beat him.
Wow, Breon and Terence.
Oh, yeah, look at it. I mean, yes, Chris will still have that structure, but now when you look at the detail, the Breon's arms, biceps, and then so much detail, and the Terrence's striated glutes, hamstring tie-in, and, very, very, I said this also. Last year, even in the bodybuilding contest, Chris Bumstead would beat all of them if there was bodybuilding judges, not classic judges.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah, I said that. This time, if there was, in a classic, I could go to him. If there was bodybuilding judging, back double biceps pose, it wouldn't go to Chris in my book.
Who? Which one would it go to? Terence or Breon?
I would give it to, okay. In bodybuilding, I would give it to Breon. In classic, I would still give it to Terence. Terence is more V-tapered and, so more flowing into the beautiful classic, structure. And Breon is, bodybuilding, refined, defined, everything is happening, but doesn't have that wow, V-taper, flaring quads.
I know Breon, I spoke to Chris Cormier, and he says in really good condition, Breon was still 10 pounds above classic a few weeks out. So they really had to bring him down. I noticed his legs were a little bit slighter, and I'm thinking that's where the weight came off.
Oh, thank you for mentioning this. Listen, and I talked to G Mannion about 2-3 years ago. I don't know, first when I said, who created that mathematical formula of height and weight ratio that would, really, first, it puzzles me who even does it. But what I've seen in the last 3 years, there is so many guys, they are overweight by those standards and those limits. They look super classic, perfect, ready. What we imagine being classic, they should be so competitive, even with Chris, if they can show it up like that. But nope, you must lose 10 pounds. to make the weight to be a classic. You know, this is that one thing that encourage them to reconsider, you know, because, okay, they're going to say, we don't want to get, you know, now bodybuilders coming in and coming full because they can be 10 pounds heavier. No. You have a classic judging rules, and you know what you're looking for a classic. You know, so don't let them be full round, all this stuff here.
That's a tricky one.
They need to sacrifice
tricky.
their actual symmetry, proportion, and aesthetics, and then lose, you know, so much muscle in progress.
I just wonder when you get guys like Breon and he's having to lose 10 pounds and he's got a great physique, he's big, but then you see the really tall guys. I mean, I've stood next to Wesley Vissers, I've stood, you know, Robert Timms. You know, I mean, these are really big guys. I mean, they're carrying a huge amount of muscle. So I'm thinking maybe it's more advantageous to the taller guys to be classic.
Yeah, I mean, but they say that's why I was saying. That's why Terence could not beat Chris, you know, because he's short, right? Yeah. Because when you just look Terence alone there, wow, yeah, that's beautiful, right? That pose is
perfect classic.
Yeah, you know, beautiful. But then when you know, project this now, let's say even, you know, if you project it to be the same height, then he can compete. But it's still that. That's like even Jay Cutler said, like, that's why Hadi can never beat Ramy, because Hadi came at his all-time best, shredded to the bones. You know, this is the best Hadi you can possibly imagine. And he still wasn't a factor to beat Ramy because that's Mr. Olympia. Okay, now here is a classic. But same applies. The tall classic, you know, to the short classic. The tall Arnold Franco comparison is always going to win.
Do you think I'm going to get some shit for this? But do you think they should split classic into 2 height classes? No, because seriously, wouldn't that solve the problem though? Because then you'd have, you know, because. What about it? Because if there's that, because the classic is so many competitors, and when you've got a Wesley Vissers at 6'3" and a Terence Ruffin at 5'6" or 5'7" or something, it is kind of difficult to really compare them.
Yeah, you make a point. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's why in some other federations they will have a height categories. As you know, they have a weight category. That's why the categories are, right?
Yeah.
And listen, we have so many classes already. You know, yeah, there's not enough time for that.
Well, the Milos, the ladies today on Buff Bombshell, they've come up with a new class called Welkini. They think, bikini girls with really big asses, big glutes, well-developed glutes, they think they should do another one called Welkini.
But hold on, isn't the wellness already Welkini, because the upper bodies of these girls?
Oh, let's not get into this.
Yeah.
Okay, Milos, I want. Sorry, go on.
I mean, another class with the big asses is welcome.
Milos, I want to ask you one last question. I wanted to ask you this. It was in my head yesterday. What do you think Hadi weighed?
I said to Dennis, I would be surprised if he's over 220.
Because me, he looked a little bit smaller this year. Do you think maybe he should just do 212? Oh.
I mean, no, he would not make 212.
Because if he's never going to beat Ramy, then why doesn't he? I mean, I don't know. This is probably a bit of a long shot, I know.
Listen, I mean, there is an argument. I would say, if I'm a judge, with all due respect to Jay saying it's still Olympia and still the size.
Yeah, and, that's what I mean.
Many others say it's still the size contest. It shouldn't be. It should be Olympia, the best physique wins, the best in the world, not biggest in the world. We had that discussion. Ronnie Coleman himself believes that his 98 version would beat 2003 version. Okay?
No. He didn't say he said he beat it. He said he preferred it.
What?
He never said my 1998 version would beat my 2003. He said I preferred personally my 98 look.
No.
That's what he said.
I'll send you the link.
Oh, come on. No, he didn't.
I guarantee. I put him on the spot.
Okay.
You know, I put people on the spot. I asked the same question to Kevin Lebroni. Kevin Lebroni says 1993, Night of the Champions. Okay? Much smaller than any other 97, 98, 99 full-blown Kevin Lebroni. Okay? Flex Wheeler, well, we all think that 93 Arnold Classic is best version. He believes that 99 British Grand Prix is the best version.
When he was like 30 pounds, he was like, 218 at the 93, and then he was like 250. He said to me it was 10 pounds up from the Olympia that year, so that would have made him 254, 256. So that means he preferred his 218 version to his 250 whatever version. I did as well. I personally preferred that 93. But anyway, that's another discussion. Milos, I feel like we could go on and on and on.
Yeah. Good.
I really appreciate this, mate. I love because I wanted to. I didn't want to just do like a kind of a normal breakdown. I wanted to go from different angles, and I feel like we've really done that today. I think this is one of our best discussions we've ever had. So, as always, I really thank you so much for your analysis, mate. And because there's not many people I can go this in deep with, like than you. You know, you're the only one I can really go into this kind. You and Ron Harris, the only one I can go this kind of like this in-depth analysis. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I know because. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but I always like to hear your opinion. I don't say I'm right. I just call it the way I feel it, the way I see it. So you can imagine, I mean, I can't even feel guilty because I stressed out Dennis James, after he came in. So I said, how do you final stands down?
Oh, no.
And then maybe got him that back that he was worried all the way until the end.
Yes. But I bet Dennis, I bet DJ in the future will come to you for your opinion anytime throughout the year because he knows you'll give him the truth and he knows you'll give him your honest opinion, and that's why. Like I've had Flex Lewis come to me and say, Giles, tell me what you thought because I know you'll give it to me straight.
Ronnie Coleman every year, right after Olympia, calls me to say, "What do you think?"
Oh,
okay. And the 2001, I told him, "Ronnie, you lost the show." He was pissed off. But then I said this many times.
Wow.
He came next day doing a photo shoot in my gym Coliseum. I said, "Hey, I see what you're saying, but I still won. I still won."
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. For me, 2000, and then I told Jay Cutler, listen, 2007, you didn't deserve it, But I mean, do I put them down?
No, you're not.
No, I'm opinionated. I said I call it as it is.
Milos, if there's anyone that has a right to an opinion on anything about bodybuilding on this planet, I mean, it's you, mate. It's you. You're one of that small elite group that really has a right to tell Ronnie Coleman you didn't have the 2001 Olympia, to Jay Cutler you didn't have the 2007 Olympia, Victor Martinez earned it. So don't never ever apologize for your opinion because if there's anyone that has more knowledge, I've not met them.
I don't apologize really.
Never.
You're pissed off at me, so I'm sorry. You wanted me to sugarcoat it, or you want me to tell you my own opinion, and this is what it is.
Yeah. No.
And listen. So to finalize this, I love Rami. Rami is like such a most wonderful person. So I cannot be happier for him. I celebrate that he won, yes. And if I'm a judge, would I give him? Yes, probably. As combination, I would still give him. But at the finals, had Hadi come for the prejudging, if he showed up like this, I mean, for me, and that's why I tell you, and you can do that. Take each and every pose, front relax, side relax, back relax, and give them points, and you'll see what I'm saying. And then front of the biceps, lat spread, side chest, back lat spread, side triceps, most muscular. Go one, so I don't want to, see, I'm not like kind of guy that say, okay, he's winning. No, why is he winning? Okay, in this pose, he's winning. First, there is a balance. Everything is there. Oh, the aesthetic is there. Oh, conditioning is the best. This is how I go. So, Brandon, beautiful aesthetics, but balance is not there. Now he's missing this. Okay, so he can overtake the balanced guy with the condition. This kind of things. And then muscle mass factor. Okay, you would say Hadi was too small. Was he really small? He packs so much muscle. So how can you call him small? Small in comparison. Yeah, but that's only that one factor. Just because he's bigger. But he's not small needing to expand any muscle by no means. Muscle is finished, completed. Shoulders are big, arms are big, legs are big, everything is there, So if, like for Brandon, they're saying if he only has a bigger legs, right? He's not complete. He's not balanced. He needs bigger legs because how many of us said he needs bigger legs? Well, that's the fact.
Yeah.
Hadi doesn't need anything bigger. Hadi is complete. And then when he opens up, you see lats, so he is wide. All these things. I do think that judges penalized him for suspicious shoulders, because that was a talk, maybe, this is the reason why he wasn't in this first call out. And then they realized, okay, if you're not going to get him, if you're going to penalize him, how far do you penalize him? Only down to third, or you're going to be dead last, or what are you going to do with him? So bring him back for the comparison. And when they sure did at the finals, he shined. Oh my God. For me, he won the finals.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Milos, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for getting up early, because I know you got in very, very late last night from the Olympia. And I'm looking forward to, because from November, the UK, I can go direct from America to UK. I don't have to quarantine any bullshit countries. Sorry. I'm not saying bullshit countries, but the bullshit of going to other countries. Let me clarify that. So hopefully it means we'll all be doing, me and Ron will be doing wrap-ups and everything and previews at the Arnold Classic in March next year, and the Olympia 100% guaranteed.
You think it's going to be in March?
Yeah. No, I heard it, March 2022.
Oh, that's great to know. That's beautiful. By the way, are you going to San Marino?
No.
So you're not going to be there.
No, I'm going to Romania, Alicante, possibly Egypt, and possibly Prague.
Oh, there you go. I envy you, but I'm not going to travel that far. I'm going to go to Reno 2 weeks from now. So Fantastic. If you need a report from there, I'll give it to you.
Fantastic. Okay, then we'll do that then. All right, then, Milos, I'll let you get your breakfast. Your same breakfast you've had for the last 83 years.
Yeah, same. I actually split it before, but now I have to call my mom.
So. Right, okay. Call your mom back and then have your same breakfast you have every day. So.
All right, see you.
Thank you so much, Milos. Bye-bye. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Unrise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined the two-time Ms Olympia, Andrea Shaw.
Oh, hello.
Andrea, are you? How are you doing?
I'm floating on a cloud, man. I haven't stopped smiling since I got off the stage.
Oh, what? Wow, two-time Olympia champion, man. I tell you what, that's an impressive feat.
Thank you. I think it was a running joke a little bit in my inner circle that, some people may think that the first time was a fluke. I said, well, we got to prove them wrong.
I will say something to that, because if you look at the December issue of MD, I'll actually take a photo of it when it comes out and send it to you, because I've written something that I can't divulge that is along the lines of you basically completely kicked ass in this Olympia.
Mission accomplished.
So where are you? Are you outside, or you're just is that sort of fake background, or?
Oh no, I'm outside. I am in the sun. We're in Michigan, so winter is coming. Big shout out to Rami. That's insane.
Copyright.
But yeah, we only have a few more warm days left, and I said, you know what? I really want to get outside and enjoy some sun. Because once it snows here and we get that heavy rain, we get a lot of heavy rain in October. We had a really heavy rain day before yesterday. We kind of go indoors. So I'm like, you know what? Another good day to just enjoy the sun. Why not?
And I hear you're building a bigger garage to fit all your cars in.
Yeah, I sent a memo out to Jay Leno just to see if he had some pointers. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm going to do with the cars. People keep asking me, what are you going to do with the cars? I don't know. Drive them, hopefully.
Because the last time I spoke to you, you hadn't had, because you won the Rising Phoenix last year as well as this year before the Olympia. So you've got two different cars. One's a Hellcat and one's the other one's, what is it?
So I have a 2021 Camaro, and then I just won the Corvette.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So, yeah. Oh my. Yeah, so I actually took the Camaro out yesterday. I'm still waiting on the Corvette. They're going to be shipping it to me. So hopefully it comes before the snow gets here. We have been known to get snow. So
you need a snowmobile, not a bloody Camaro.
There you go. Or maybe I'm going to do an SUV.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. So, because the thing is, last time I spoke to you, you hadn't even had delivery of the first one yet. So, because my next question was going to be, which is your favorite to drive? Because they're two completely different cars, but both. I mean, which is your favorite, even though you haven't driven both of them?
I drive Corvette, though. I did. I couldn't resist.
Oh.
So before I left, I drove the Corvette. I think that if I'm looking for a smooth ride, I would go for the Corvette. If I was looking to, maybe test out some speed a little bit, I would go with the Camaro, because the Camaro's definitely got a little more kick, and the Corvette is a bit of a smoother ride.
So then, Ms Olympia, does it ever get bored? Do you ever get bored of being called that?
I'm still getting used to it. A lot of people make it sound crazy, but I'm still like grasping and wrapping my mind around the first one. You prep so hard, and you have this goal, you have this really hard drive to go after it, and then when you get it, it's kind of like, wow, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot, but I mean, I know it happened, but I'm still kind of like, this is really for real. It's wild.
Andrea, last year when you won it was, you won, I think you won quite clearly. You had some very, very fantastic competition from Margie and Hella and all the other ladies. But for me this year, like, I've actually said on the forums and on social media, I think you were the most dominant Olympia champion out of all the categories this year.
I've heard that. And I've heard from a few of our past Olympians in the male division, actually, that they weren't too impressed with the men's definition and that clarity in the muscle. But, I think a lot of people, I enjoyed the show across the board, but I think that some athletes, they can swing wide one way or another. Some athletes come in really, really conditioned, and then they don't have enough mass. And then some athletes come in with a whole bunch of mass and then very little definition in the muscle. So there's really a fine line to walk with that. Even with my feedback, the judges were very clear that, I don't need to get any bigger. And I put on 10 pounds of muscle. So that
holy shit!
And I didn't
10 pounds.
I really did. No, I didn't get any bigger. No, I'm like maybe just a little, but going back and looking at, because me and my coach, we always do side by sides. I try to focus more on my own physique than I do like the other competitors, because it's more about what am I going to do to improve. That's what internally like drives me, making sure that, I step up every aspect of what I bring to the stage. Last year it was, step up my posing, step up my finals routine for the performance for the evening, bring out my lats more, make sure I had better quads. And sharpness in the quads, so we accomplished that. So I try to make sure I walk away from every show with a nice list of things that I want to work on. So I try to make sure that that's, the primary focus. But I think we definitely accomplished what we set out to do. But it even blew my mind, because we're looking at the pictures side by side, and I'm like, crazy. Oh my gosh, I am bigger. Like, whoa.
I mean,
mind blown.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, were you ever in two minds about doing the Rising Phoenix, given that you were the Olympia champion and then 4 weeks before there was this show? Were you ever in two minds about doing that and maybe just doing the Olympia?
No. I actually shared this with a lot of the girls. So if you watch the show, Saturday they gave us another opportunity to be on stage. It was like a Muscle Beach kind of skit, and we were working out.
We saw that, yeah.
We got a chance to kind of flex on stage. I thought it was great. So I think that if you look at female bodybuilding, and if it's something that really is near and dear to your heart, every opportunity that we have to be on stage, we should take that opportunity. So I think that, for me, the Rising Phoenix, it meant more that I was actually going to commit to doing it both years, because the title is one thing, but the commitment, I think, says a lot more than the title. I think that if you're really committed to this division, then you will do whatever it takes to make sure that you represent it, and you represent it well.
So, I mean,
felt good.
I remember when Ronnie said, actually, you're going to give the same answer maybe. Ronnie said he did the Arnold Classic because he wanted one of the Hummers. I expected him to say no, it was about the getting the title, or he says no. He says I saw the Hummer, I thought it was cool, I wanted one, and I thought I knew I could win it.
And it's honestly, I think it's a little bit of a deeper commitment, because the Rising Phoenix was all that we had when the Ms Olympia was taken away. So it's almost like let's make sure that we we show up for the fans, we show up for, the promoters, we show up for Wings, those people have done such a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes to put on these shows. Alex, Alina, Linda, Jake. And they're committed, and we all have to show up. I tell the girls this a lot because I really want them to understand that the title is great, right? It's absolutely great, but this is another opportunity that you get to show the world your commitment and your love for the sport. So yeah, the car is like icing on the cake. The 50 grand, totally cherry on top. But as female entrepreneurs, we get some significant money, right? We earn a great amount of money.
Yeah.
And again, you get to improve, because I feel like one thing I've learned over the course of these last 2 years, I need the Rising Phoenix to actually give me kind of like a bit of a temperature check on where I'm going to be for the Olympia. Because we've seen that for the last 2 years, every time I do the Rising Phoenix, I come in, I think I actually peak at the Olympia. So I really need the Rising Phoenix to get me prepared for my actual peak.
You had me nervous though at the Rising Phoenix, because I thought you'd peaked there. Seriously, I thought, oh no, seriously, I thought, no, is she going to be able to hold that? And you actually improved on it.
Yeah, no. For the last 2 years so far, we've noticed that. I really peak at the Olympia. Like I come in usually a lot fuller. And we really don't change much. So we're trying to figure out what it is about my body that maybe it gets primed after that first show. I don't know, but we didn't change anything with like water manipulation. Food was the exact same. We just realized that, when I get ready to do that, and it didn't matter how long of a period was in between. So last year, the Olympia and the Rising Phoenix were only like 10 days apart. This year we had a whole 30 days.
That's true.
And it was definitely, I peaked at both Olympias.
Yeah. So, what's your first year as Miss Olympia been like? How's your life changed? Are you tell us.
Oh man, it's been exciting. It's been tiring. It's been it's been inspiring. It's been a lot to take in. I felt like there were times once I actually started prep, when I was still traveling, that the schedule was a lot to juggle. Yeah. Trying to make sure well prepared. Thank God that my posing coach, Sid Gillen, she and I, we're really close, so we got a lot of similarities, and she gave me a lot of tips and tricks. So every time we get ready to travel, if you're in prep, well, usually in or out of prep, because we have to kind of stay pretty strict with certain parts of our diet. We go straight to the grocery store. Do not pass go, get off the plane, go straight to the grocery store. And there are just certain staples that, we know will help us to stay on track. So, it became a learning lesson for me with the travel. But, on the days I was tired, I was really, inspired by the fans, inspired by, the people who show up and give their best, the promoters, all of the expediters. It's just been a huge embrace from them. And then, it's been challenging, because traveling a lot can be pretty, it can bring on some pressure, because then I started to wonder, am I going to be on track? Am I going to be able to have enough energy to get my workouts in? Because, after working some shows all day, just posing, I still was obligated to, jump right in, do my cardio before bed, get up, lift, so there were a lot of late nights and early mornings. And I just really learned a little bit more about myself and what I could pull out of there to really make sure that, again, people can see my commitment across the board, that, and a lot of the fans are like invigorating. Yeah. The ones who there's one lady in particular, her name is Tatiana, and her husband was pro already. He had just gotten his pro card last year. So I met them just outside of the expo at the Olympia the day after I won. And, I just talked with her about, using him as a huge resource for her, encouragement for her to really get into the best shape of her life. Because, whether you win or not, when you're getting ready for a show, and that's one of the things that always stuck with me when I first started, nothing forces you to get in great shape like getting ready for a bodybuilding show. because I mean, unlike other sports, some people can cheat on the diet and they can still perform. They can go eat bagels and still, like, you can't do that in bodybuilding. You have to be totally committed from beginning to end. Not that you won't have some slips, but you really have to know that, you got to have ownership of what you bring to the stage. And I saw her at the Tampa Pro, and she did her first show as a NPC competitor, and she won.
Oh, nice.
It was the most amazing feeling.
Fantastic.
She brought me to tears. It was awesome, because when she looked at me and I didn't recognize her, like her face, you know how it is, you get diet face, right? Mm-hmm. Her face looked different. I recognized her husband, and she's like, "Do you remember us?" And I said, "I remember his face, but you have to tell me where I talked to you.
Yeah.
So if you tell me where I spoke to you, I know I can start to connect the dots." And that when she told me that, I mean, my mouth just dropped. It was just like, oh my gosh. And she looked great. She was just a huge inspiration. And I mean, to embrace her at that moment, it was amazing.
That's so cool. Are you surprised at how much popularity women's bodybuilding now has again? And do you think it's because it's back at the Olympia, or what? What's your feelings?
Yes. I mean, I feel like it's finally getting back to the place where it used to be, and hopefully we can even surpass that.
Yeah.
Because there's still, you got some naysayers who say, it's a bit too much, but you're always going to have that. Because what we do is a bit extreme, but I think that for the people who really embrace it, they support it fully, and I feel like it's great to see. For me, the division start to flourish. So when I start reaching out to some women's physique competitors, and Alina and Linda, they start to speak with these young ladies, and I try to make myself a resource for them to ask, as many questions as they feel like they need to about, that transitional period. What's going to be required? Do I need to get a whole lot bigger? What kind of things expect? What about my posing? What about stage presence? I'm afraid. I went through all of that. So being able to be that resource for them, I mean, it's amazing, because now I've gotten a chance to see these girls, after talking to them, get on stage, compete, do well, and they get a renewed excitement. They let go of those fears. So it's been great to really see, I think, the vision kind of come forth for what Jake Wood had in mind when he started this.
I think Wings of Strength really push the athletes, the ladies, to really kind of promote the sport. I think they've all done a really good job. And I bet there's times when because they really, really push them. It's like, look, you've really got to promote this division. If you want it at the Olympia and you want this, want all these opportunities and cars and that, you've really got to promote. So it's really on the athletes, I think.
Yeah, agree. Again, that's why I push them. I say, hey, look, we all have to show up. Yeah. We all have to show up. Out to a couple ladies after a couple of shows, and it's like, okay, you may not have placed as high as you want, but you can learn from it. When I first did the Rising Phoenix, I placed 7th. It sucked. It sucked. It was but I had to make some decisions about what it was that I was going to do differently. And even talking with Hele, I've been talking to Hele over the years, just she inspires me. And she says I do too. And there's nothing like having that push when we can still be friendly. Yes, it's a competition. Yes, I want to win. Yes, she wants to. But we find a way to allow the competition to still bring out the best in us.
Yeah.
So it's a sisterhood. If you embrace it, it can definitely be a sisterhood. And, you can form friendships and relationships, not that we all have to be buddy, but, sometimes it evolves into that. But long after we retire, we may be working with athletes. We may be going to other shows together. We may see each other. And, that camaraderie still should be something that's observed as being friendly.
One thing I do see with the female bodybuilders is there is genuine support between the athletes. Like you said, it's a sisterhood.
Absolutely. And, being a part of that culture, because, when I won the first Ms Olympia, I said, I want to be a part of creating the culture where, when girls come over from women's physique, or when athletes step into, the NPC, and they know that, their bodies are the best fit for women's bodybuilding, they can still be, free and open and talk with us, whether it's at a booth, whether it's Instagram or some other form of social media, and ask the questions that they need to ask. Because, a lot of us, have male coaches. Not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes a female voice that can ease those apprehensions. It's just, that's just the way it is. But yeah, I think that this is a huge time to be a part of the momentum that we got going. It's amazing. It's electric. Like, we see each other on stage, backstage, on social media, and it's like, hey girl, you looking good. Okay, whatever you got to do, keep going, tighten it up. Helly at the last minute had changed her coach. I thought that was a huge kudos to her, because I'm sure it took a lot of guts to do that. Because you want something bad enough, you're willing to do what it takes to help yourself get to that next level. And, I'm really proud of her for doing it.
I am very, very pleasantly surprised at how female bodybuilding is, like I said, it's regained its... I don't think it's even regained its popularity. I think it's something completely different now. I really do feel like it is as exciting as the Mr. Olympia. There was a lot of talk. I think years ago, I don't know, maybe the sport got a bit, I don't know, maybe it was a bit neglected or something, but I think maybe because of the Wings of Strength and the way that the athletes are all kind of working together and supporting each other, I see it bigger now than it's ever been.
Yes. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that everybody knows, we are going to show up with great physiques. We're going to show up and be, amicable toward each other. We leave the trash talking for the guys pretty much.
Yeah.
But, this is where it started, and a lot of the other divisions, they owe their, existence to the female bodybuilding, you know what I mean? Because that's where it all started for us. So yeah, to be a part of this, it's like, yeah, we're here. We're staying. We're not leaving. We're going to put on a great show, and, for those of us who engage with the fans and we know that they support us, we make sure that we extend that appreciation to them. And I think that feeds into it too. When the fans know that, you're not going to walk around like the snotty pro or like the snotty Olympian, you start to have that human quality, that relatability, that makes the connection even better.
Yeah. So which of the wins was more satisfying, the first or the second? Which one? Come on, tell me. The second.
The second. There was more pressure. There was more pressure with the second one. And there was, again, the prep was not easy. I had to really push myself to get outside of my comfort zone. So I had to make some decisions to deliberately make myself uncomfortable. So that, and I'm not a stranger to that, but I think I had to take it to the next level this last prep, because there was just a lot of things in my mind that kind of kept me feeling as though they could be distractions if I didn't deal with them very quickly. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
I think things like, simple things, but, again, all the travel and getting back home and trying to get settled and get refocused on, practicing my posing routine and practicing my posing before it was time for me to meet with Sid. Check myself into a hotel because even the laundry became a distraction. It seems small, but again, it was something that I knew. I said, okay, you know what? I have to get out of what's comfortable. My bed here at home was too comfortable. It was just knowing myself well enough to know that, you know what, I have to put myself in a totally different environment. I'm going to put forth the best effort when I know that I put myself in this environment. And I came here with a purpose. The same, goes with going to the gym. Once I get into the mindset of, working out at home is too comfortable, I need to go to the gym. When I step through the door, it's game time. It's time to get focused and do what you set out to do. So yeah, it was definitely more about the second one because I had to push a lot harder.
I toured with Brandon Curry last year around Europe, and he said if you want to progress, you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's his exact words. Sorry, Andrew, I was saying about Brandon Curry, about being comfortable being uncomfortable. Sorry, I had a bit of connection issue there. Sorry, I don't know you caught that.
Yes, I think that when you get to this level, you probably should have had some instances in which you've gotten to know when you're too comfortable. So, I think that for a lot of the amateurs, I would say practice those habits that will help you to be an Olympian, right? So these are things that, like I had mentioned, So I was saying that I think that when you practice certain tactics and strategies that you can implement as an amateur, they do help you to make you a better pro. So I got very comfortable with, when I started to allow my mind to ask questions about, what about if I just skip it today? Or what if I just kind of take a nap and then do it later? And, no, if you really want to be the best, let's talk more about what it is and this is all internal dialogue. Let's talk about what can you do that will make you uncomfortable to put yourself in a position to take the action that you should. So those are the things that psychologically, I've gotten really comfortable with doing. And again, it's something as small as laundry to some people, but laundry, dishes, it was a distraction, and I needed to remove myself from that to get myself focused. And sometimes it's going to a different gym. Certain equipment really starts to bring out like that 3D effect with my body. And knowing that, okay, well, I have to make the effort to get to this gym because I know they have this piece of equipment there that I need to work that's going to, bring in that extra clarity that I need for the stage. And, that's going to make me do what I know I need to do. So when you get into the habit of practicing that, and again, practicing it as an amateur makes you a better pro. So you have to know yourself, because everybody goes through those, and you've competed before, you go through those lulls where the calories are low, you're tired, you don't want to do it, you don't want to do cardio, you don't want to practice posing, like, oh my gosh, you don't want to practice that routine, not today, let's go to sleep. But no, when what you need to do is go ahead and get that scoop of pre-workout and get yourself driven.
Yeah.
And get moving.
Yeah.
I like to say I make myself move before my mind figures out what's going on. So get the body moving before the mind has time to catch up.
Have you ever had any sort of mindset coaching?
Indirectly, to an extent. So I've gotten into doing, when I was coming through college, I got into doing a little bit more Tony Robbins. So
Okay.
those types, podcasts, DVDs, CDs. And they became vastly helpful with, mindset, vastly. I mean, I love Tony Robbins. One of my other favorites is Terry Savelle. She has more of a Christian aspect, but, I'm pretty near and dear to my faith. So those things really speak to me when she can coach me on how to go after my dreams. And I've talked to her actually a little bit.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, because she's huge on creating vision boards and, really being clear about what it is that you want. So when you can define the goal clearly, I think that it helps you to define the steps that are required much more clearly.
I had a year of NLP coaching about 3 years ago, and it completely changed my life. And my life went from kind of shit to really good. Like as literally over that year, I literally turned my whole life around. That was NLP. And I know other people do CBT and all these different types of coaching, and yours is directly to people that kind of speak to you. I just find with the really best of the best of the best like yourself, I always wonder, is it just something that's just with it? Like Ronnie Coleman, it was his faith, it was him, it was his work ethic, it was the love and the passion for what he did. And then there's the people like yourself. I'm always curious about what really, really drives you.
To be the best me that I can be.
Yeah.
The best me that I can be. And I wasted, I would say, maybe not a lot of time, but I wasted a little bit of time in my 20s. So now in my 30s, I definitely have a certain call to action to make sure that the time that I feel as though could have been better spent from my 20s. So, every little success and victory to me is a coin in the bucket to really feeling better about, the direction that my life is headed in.
I think everyone's, to be fair now, I think everyone's 20s are for learning lessons the hard way, maybe. I tried to blot out that whole decade, to be honest. Let's forget about it. It never happened.
20, the things I would do differently, my gosh.
Wow, yeah, that's wisdom.
Indeed.
Yeah. Andrea, I'm going to be mindful of your time, but I've really enjoyed this actually. I think I should get you on again, and I like talking about things like mindset and stuff like that, especially when you're alluding to it, and we can expand on it a little bit. But I find it really interesting because like what you pulled 2 weeks ago was like 2003 Ronnie Coleman level. It was like it was like taking the whole like I wrote in, I shouldn't really say this because it's not out yet, but I said in my column, I said, look, to win a pro show is great. To win to turn pro is great. To do well in a pro, but you actually, if you go to the Olympia and you win it outright, but like as soon as you walk on stage and lift up your arms to a frontal bicep, and everyone's just going, well, that's your winner. That is something that is really quite unimaginable almost.
That was my goal, though. When I started the prep, I told my coach, I said, I want there to be, if possible, a huge gap between, let me say this tactfully. And again, what I say in my inner circle is one thing, right? It's a totally different realm. But, I wanted there to be a huge distinction between, where my physique was compared to, many others. So, again, never ever would I say anything bad about the ladies. But, that was just my personal goal of, when I step on stage, I want you to know that I put in a lot of work. I made a point to give it my very best. And I'm better than I was last year.
Yes.
That's like number one. Like I did not slack off. I definitely put in the time to make sure that I was much, much better, remarkably improved from last year.
It's just an amazing achievement that I think even if you never competed again, I think you could you know what I mean? It would be something that will be remembered. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think, like when Lee Haney come along or Dorian Yates in '93. I think this is going to be something that is going to be remembered as, okay, that was the year that it was a fight for second place.
And prayerfully, with the plan that we're putting together, I'm going to be better next year.
Impossible. It's not possible.
I've got a full off season. So, to have the Olympia shortened from December of 2020 to October, that was still another 8 weeks. So now we get a full off season.
Yes.
And I can really dial in, extra time with my posing coach, extra time with my coach, extra time with the people that I've hired to help me with my finals routine. So, I really have started to take on some of the things that, or the tactics that my posing coach Sydney has done, which has made her so successful as a 5-time Ms Olympia. She's making history of her own, which
incredible.
I think is
Incredible.
Yeah, amazing. So, she comes right off the stage and she just goes right into, executing on the plan for the next win. So these are things that I feel like, when the student is ready, the teacher always appear.
Yeah.
So, getting them to be a part of, my journey and my team, it's been such a blessing. So, it's nonstop. We keep working and we execute on the plan.
That is so cool that your posing coach is another Olympia champion.
It's so cool. It's so cool. There's conversations that, only she and I can have. And I kind of lump Linda in there too, because when you've gone to this heightened, level of success, there aren't too many people that, you can ask those questions. How did you handle this? Or, what's the best advice you can give me for this situation? Because some people just haven't been there. So, I don't take that for granted, and I cherish those relationships immensely.
And a lot of props to Linda Murray and Alina Popper, because I speak to them and I speak to other athletes, and those two ladies really do help the next generation. They help the amateurs, the pros, the Olympians. They really do go above and beyond, and they're really like a voice of experience to you, the next generation.
Yes, and I mean they're just so easy to talk to. Being able to call them. Alina and I had some really great conversations about handling that travel, because it is a lot. Her and Linda have been traveling with the Wings of Strength team. I don't think a lot of people really know what they have to go through, and not that they gripe about it or complain about it, but they've found a way to navigate it and be successful, because they are at every single Wings of Strength show, and they are there encouraging the girls, making sure that we have the things that we need, answering questions for us. If something goes haywire, they're there. So they are kind of like our huge support team, cheerleaders and troubleshooters all in one shot. Yeah.
Well, I love seeing the legends of the past still involved, and also paying it forward to the kind of next generation coming through. I think it's really nice to see. It saddens me when people, they kind of leave the sport and now that's it. They've got no connection to it. I've had people from the 90s on and they're like, well, I'm nothing to do with bodybuilding. I don't even know who the current Olympia champion is, and I think it saddens me. Right. So to see Alina and Linda still, I love seeing that. It's so valuable to the athletes and everyone.
It's so inspiring
That's
to know that, especially Linda's story, to know that she had a 6-year run, retired, came back.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing short of remarkable. And that says a lot about her mindset and, again, her commitment to the sport. Because, there was a time when I was competing right before I got my pro card. And I said, well, you know what? If for some odd reason I didn't get that pro card and I decided to let that dream go, would I still train as though I was going to compete? And the answer was yes. So I think that when you have that mindset, it definitely shows in the actions that you take. Yeah. I mean, long after you are either done competing or, there's just a certain level of stick-to-itness that comes, it's built in.
Well, Linda told me at the Arnold Classic a few years ago, she said, I would have kept competing if it wasn't for an old knee injury from cheerleading. She said, I would have just kept going. I loved it. I was like Ronnie Ronnie would have just kept going. He'd still be going now doing Olympias if his body could take it. But it's just that love and that drive. It's just incredible.
Yeah. And, someone had asked me, how long I plan to do it. I mean, as long as I still physically feel good and as long as I mentally still feel good about getting into prep and competing, I'm going to keep going.
That's what we like to hear. I think you and Sydney are going to be ringing each other in 10 years and you've got like 15 Olympia wins and, how many have I got? I lost count now.
Exactly. Yeah. We want that. It's like, well, tell us again how many you won because we just forgot. We forgot because you just keep winning.
Yeah. Also, one final question. Where's the favorite of all the places you've traveled to in the last year? What's been your favorite and why?
I would have to, both aside from the shows, because the shows were definitely the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia were definitely like my top two. Because, they're where I was able to really display my hard work. But I would have to say it's a toss-up between the Norfolk Pro, which is Linda's show, because that was my first guest posing at a pro show. So that was very exciting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was super exciting. And I felt so honored, so fortunate. And I got a chance to really dive in a little bit deeper into, what really goes into being Ms Olympia when it comes to a bigger stage. I've guest posed at some local shows, and that was kind of like my warm up. But I took it really as a big deal. Guest posing at a pro show and at Linda Murray's show of all shows, right? Yeah. So that was a huge, I think, badge of honor and a huge blessing for me. And then the second one would have to be Tampa Pro. So those two are kind of like running neck and neck, only because the young lady that I mentioned, Tatiana, she encouraged me more than I think I could ever even express to her. That, the time that we took to chat, it really made an impact on her to actually take some sort of action and take charge of her life and how she felt empowered to do something with the information that she was given. Because getting ready for a show is not a small feat. You're going to learn some things about yourself that, you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Whether it's your time management, whether it's, learning more about your commitment level, you develop some resolve and some really tough grittiness when you get into a contest prep that, you can't be taught that. You have to go through it.
I think a real, like, my first prep, it was almost like a spiritual experience. I learned so much about myself on that 13 weeks that I didn't know before. Yeah. Because you give yourself a challenge. You think, God, I've never even had abs before, and now I'm going to be stepping on stage. It really is. It changed me. It gave me confidence to kind of throw my hat into the ring at anything in any area of life. And by the sounds of it, with with Tatiana, it's like a reciprocal, inspirational kind of setup you got going on.
Exactly. That's great. And it goes to show you that once you put your mind to it, there's really nothing that you can't do. It translates over into so many other areas of life. So many. And it makes you a better we hopefully makes you a better overall person.
Well, you're more fulfilled, you're happier, and you've achieved more. So an achievement is always good for character building, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you know, after the first one, whether you really want to do it again. But I told her, you know, one thing's for sure, at least for that first one, you're going to be in the best shape of your life at that point. And then you get to determine from there.
Yeah.
You get to just. So yeah, from what she's told me, she's going after it again next year. So
wow, that's so cool.
Excited! I'm going to go down to Tampa and see her this December just to kind of visit and catch up, and support one of the local shows down there in Tampa. But it's been such an honor and a blessing to be able to do what I love.
That's drop the mic. Andrea, I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for coming on MD Global Muscle. I remember we had a really good talk the last time you came on, and I felt like I learned a lot from it, you know, which is always nice if you can interview someone or speak to someone, have a conversation with someone, and actually, you know, really personally take something from that. So thank you once again for coming on. You always over deliver, like you did at the Olympia. You over delivered.
Thank you. And anytime you ever want to have me on, I would be more than honored.
Awesome. Right. Okay, then. I'll let you get to your last 2 days of sunshine, like us. And I'll speak to you very soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Andrea. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Unrise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined all the way from sunny Florida, Dan Sullivan.
Giles, it has been so long since I've had a chance to talk to you. This whole COVID thing has created so many challenges, and among them is you and I not just being in the same room, but being in the same country. So hopefully that we can change that here in the coming weeks and months.
Dan, I made a solemn vow on video the other day to Ron Harris. I said, Ron, for as long as I live, because he was sad I wasn't at Olympia, to help him out, be his wingman. I said, I promise I will never miss another Olympia as long as I live.
Ron was lost without you. I actually saw Ron walking the hallways with tears streaming down his face. He didn't know what to do. He was looking for his partner, and you were nowhere to be found. So hopefully that you never put him through that again.
Oh, Dan. Okay, then. Right. Well, so then, I mean, how are you feeling? Because I think people always just talk to about the Olympia, but what about you? How are you feeling? Because, I mean, obviously, all the excitement, all the work, all the effort. I mean, how are you feeling right now that the excitement's all died down for the Olympia?
So, for starters, proud, to be honest. It's a really gratifying thing to go through the process of putting the Olympia on, because there's so many layers to it, on the business side, on the production side, on the promotion and marketing side, on all components of the licensing piece that we handle, the global component. There's so many layers to it. And what people also forget, I myself forget it sometimes, there's parts of the Olympia weekend that individually would be among the biggest things to happen throughout the course of the year. Let me give you an example. So take the Amateur Olympia, which is how the week starts. It's a 2-day event. The Amateur Olympia has roughly 600 NPC athletes competing in it. That would make it one of the largest NPC shows in the world. And yet it's just a part of Olympia weekend, right?
Yeah.
And so if we were to hold that Amateur Olympia on its own, it would be one of the biggest events in the country. And then you take the press conference, which we completely retooled this year and gave it a whole different vibe. And there was a lot of work involved and a lot of expense involved in making that happen. The Meet the Olympians brings 10,000 or so fans, not quite, I think it's more like about 7,000 or 8,000 or so fans coming to meet their favorite. And to execute that and to put that off, that individually would be one of the biggest events to happen throughout the year in our industry. And that's just a little Thursday night offshoot that we do.
Yeah.
You know, and then you roll into the Friday and Saturday evening shows. And of course, the Saturday night is the big event that everybody talks about. But the Friday night show, which of course is the Fitness Olympia Finals, the Figure Olympia Finals, the Women's Physique Finals, the 212 Finals, the Mr. Olympia Prejudging, the Friday night show, which again sometimes gets viewed as like that secondary thing at the Olympia, would be the second biggest show in the world, that Friday night Olympia show, because we have more than 5,000 people in the building for that show. And it's a big production. And, Jake and Tamer and, we all work very hard to make that significant as well. So I guess my point is the Olympia weekend, it's a week long of just one mega event after the next. And of course, it all culminates on Saturday night. And then we roll right into our seminar on Sunday. But yeah, it's a lot of work. So very proud, I think, just to be able to pull it off and to see all the smiling faces in the audience. And it's an emotional experience for all of us. I'll just be honest with you.
You implemented a lot of new changes for this year. What was your favorite?
Well, there was a couple fun ones. We'll start with the press conference, and I don't want to overstate it. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but the press conference for the last 15 years, we've all been there. You've been there, and you show up in that press conference. And last year at the press conference, I remember sitting there, and I was bored. And this is an event that I put on, right? And I was bored sitting there, and I thought to myself, why is this so boring to me? And it occurred to me, this is boring to me because I'm sitting there in the audience, and there are 30 carb-depleted, bored competitors on that stage looking back at me, obviously bored, obviously wanting to be anywhere but where they were right then. And it occurred to me that, like, we need to reinvent this thing and shift the thing all up. So we shifted the whole process, and we were able to make some progress. People really seemed to enjoy that. And it took a little bit of work to get that done, but we were able to do that. That was a cool thing. The other thing that I was really proud of is, you'll appreciate this. We spent a lot of energy, resources, money, and time on our stage for our main events.
Gosh, huge.
I'm sure you saw that watching it at home.
It's mind-blowing. Okay? Mind-blowing.
So you know how for years, Giles, people say things like bodybuilding shows are boring. Bodybuilding shows, no wonder it can't be on television because bodybuilding's boring. Nobody wants, like watching paint dry. You know, we hear that all the time. I can tell you this right now for a fact. Not one person in Orlando uttered the words, "That was boring." Yeah. And I was so proud of that because we put so much into it. The building was on fire. The room was shaking. It was relentless. It was, as our good friend Tony Doherty would say, it was relentless momentum. It was nonstop energy on that stage. And we didn't hear anybody. You might not agree with the outcome. You might not have liked the way maybe some sequence of lighting went. Maybe something got in your eyes. I don't know. Everybody had a little complaint about something, but nobody was bored in that building. And we put a lot of energy to make that happen. And I'm really proud of that because think about that. For decades, over and over, bodybuilding's boring. Well, guess what? This year's Olympia was many, many things, but it was not boring. And that was something that we're particularly proud of.
I think if you did a survey of people that critique the Olympia, 99% of the ones have never actually been at an Olympia.
Of course. Well, that's always how it is. That's not just the Olympia. That's every show.
Yeah.
Every show they come back and the critiques, the haters, the skepticism, the cynicism, it always comes from those who weren't in the building. It's a powerful experience. I had a friend of mine, I'll leave his name out of it, but I've heard him for years talk about the demise of bodybuilding and the struggles of this. And I said to him, you know what? I'm going to give you a ticket out of my personal allotment.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to put you in row 10. And you're going to sit there. And you're going to experience this show. You don't have to like it, but I want you to go to the show. And when the show is over, I want to hear what you think. So he went. And as he was walking out, he came up to me, gave me a big hug, and he said, you will never hear me say another negative word about what this experience is because it's so powerful. You're surrounded by celebrities. You're surrounded by a stage production befitting a rock concert. You're surrounded by a capacity crowd of 6,000 people with barely an empty seat. You're watching the best in the world on that stage, the best judging panel, the best sound, the best lighting, the best everything. And you go to it, and it's very powerful. And yes, you are right. Those who cast shade on it are almost always those who didn't go. And we understand not everybody can go. So it's also our job to make sure the show is entertaining for those people who can't go. Not everybody can afford to get on an airplane, or not everybody has time to step away from their family or their jobs to go do it. So we understand that. There's always reasons why people can't go, and we need to do a better job of making the show exceptional for them as well. But when you go to the show, you are correct. It is a very unique experience for sure.
Bloody good job on the live stream as well, because I watched the live stream last year and I saw a big level up in terms of overall production just generally, and you did it again this year. So whoever you're using for that, just keep using them because they did a fantastic, seamless job with it.
That's something that Jake puts a lot of time into it. I'd say probably more than just about any part of the weekend. That pay-per-view, he's got a great team, Nico and Travis and their whole crew that work extremely hard on putting that together. Some of these folks are folks that I've worked with for a long time, and it's really something that we've realized that if we don't get that right, there's a lot of people out there that feel like they didn't get their money's worth. And now that we're doing it as a pay-per-view, that burden, that responsibility is even higher because now, people are paying for it. Jake, next time you see Jake, tell him how much you liked the pay-per-view, because I can tell you right now, that is his baby, and he really cares a lot about doing everything he can to kind of take that to new levels.
Yeah. No, I will. I'll message Jake, actually. Definitely. So, was it easier? Less challenging this year without the COVID kind of thing hanging over you like it was last year?
So it was less challenging because we didn't have to move the event with 5 weeks to go. So that's always a bonus.
Yeah.
But short of that, we're still in a COVID world, right? Think about this. When we think about the Olympia, we don't think about just those 5 days in October. We think about it, it starts in March when we start selling the event, selling exhibitor booths, selling sponsorships, selling tickets. And when there's a COVID environment and there's a pandemic in the world, companies don't have confidence in making those commitments. Fans don't have confidence in making those commitments. So it creates a lot of challenges. I don't know that we were free of that this year. We spent most of the year fielding questions and concerns about safety and what's going to happen if, and all these contingencies. So, but it certainly was easier than last year. The city of Orlando, the state of Florida, the Orange County Convention Center, the Hyatt Regency Orlando, the Rosen Center Orlando, they were all wonderful to work with, and they made our lives easier. Giles, I have a hell of a team that I get to work with. Tamer El-Gindy's, the best of what he does, and Angelica, who manages so many aspects of what we do. She's brilliant, to use your word, and we have a tremendous team, and Sophia and Kaden and Martine and Heather and just Ken and Tim Gardner and everybody up and down the list. They just really work incredibly hard to make the VIPs feel special, and to make the athletes really enjoy their experience. It's something that, aside of this, that a lot of people don't get to experience is, I'll go to an Olympia and people will come up to me and give me a hug as tears stream down their face, and they'll say things to me that they've waited their whole life to get to an Olympia. Yeah. It's like a bucket list item for them. Or athletes who've trained since they were 15 years old in hopes of one day getting there, and they finally get there. And this is a moment that will define them. This is a moment that will be the high mark of their life. These are the stories that they will tell their kids and grandkids one day as they move through life and they go to wherever they go next. So the Olympia means a lot to a lot of people. And it really has a way of bringing focus to our team and understanding that responsibility. It's pretty exciting to watch it all play out and to watch the way it affects people in different ways.
Have a look at this.
What is it? Joe Weider's Olympia. What year is that? 2002?
Yeah.
That was a good year. Yeah.
2002, yeah. Well, 2001 was my first Olympia, but the first one I went to.
2001 was the year Jay led after prejudging, of course, right?
Yeah.
And then Ronnie came back and took it back from him. And then 2002, Jay didn't compete. Mm-hmm. That was a good Olympia. My first Olympia came a few years before that. It came in 1998. I guess we've seen a few shows, haven't we?
Oh, man. So one thing I've always wanted to know, do you ever, because I know you still speak a lot to Betty Weider, what's her feelings on, does she feel kind of happy with where it's all gone since obviously it kind of changed hands?
Yeah, I actually owe Betty a call. We haven't spoken in longer than I care to admit. I probably owe her a call. I think when we moved the event to Orlando, it kind of made it harder for her to be able to get there. I think a Vegas Olympia made it easier for her to appear at, hoping that she can get back there next year with us moving back to Vegas. Betty has been nothing but kind and supportive and generous with her support. And she once sent me this beautiful note about what Joe would have thought of the work that we're doing. And Look, Betty is a co-creator of the event.
Yeah.
And she was at the table when the event was conceived. So having her respect and her appreciation, it means a lot. Yeah, she's a special lady, and thanks for reminding me. I owe her a call, so I'm going to do that when I finish up with you today.
I was so happy when I was at the bigger movie premiere, and I walked down because I was sat at the back with some of the actors with Ron. Yeah, there you go. The bigger movie, check it out. And I went down the front, and you were stood with Betty, and I was like, it was so cool. Because I just know it was like seeing like a legend in the flesh, you know?
Isn't it so special? And I hope that more people like you understand that, because as we've gotten, up in years, and we've watched the new generation come in with all these new divisions, and we've watched the NPC grow, and we've watched Pro League grow around the world. There's a lot of new blood, and the new blood, they don't know Joe, and they don't know Ben. They don't know those stories. They don't understand what Betty Weeder means to all of this, and that none of this would happen without any of them. So I love when you bring it up, because I spoke to John Hansen about that not too long ago, and of course John is one of the real protectors of the sport. And of course, now that the great Peter McGuff is not with us anymore, I hope more people like you continue to connect with the past, because a lot of folks, amazingly, don't know those names and don't know those stories anymore.
Oh, I mean, I've had, I did a John Hansen and Samir Banu, like an Olympia history show, and we split it over 3 episodes, and I really went to a lot of lengths to find a lot of edits to put in and kind of educate the fans of, and I had Frank Zane on last year. It's not very often I get nervous, but, I've done this hundreds of times, but having Frank Zane on and hearing those stories, and, Tom Platz and all these different guys, it's like the history of the Olympia is something. I think there's certain bodybuilders like Sergio Oliva Jr. that obviously was born into it, that kind of, still carries that, and still, but I love being able to use this show to kind of educate the fans on that, because it's just, this is the history. It started in 1965, Okay, and tell me when the first Sandow was.
Tell me what the what?
The first Sandow, first ever Sandow.
Oh, you're giving me trivia now. The first Sandow, what was that? 1980?
77.
Well, you tell me.
No, it was 77. So Frank Zane got the first ever Sandow, which is in a plinth in his home gym.
Yeah, see, somewhere Peter McGuff is rolling over that I did not know the answer to that question. It's funny because, I feel like my knowledge has dulled a little bit the last couple of years. I felt like I was a pretty good encyclopedia for a while, and then I got so wrapped up in the business of what we do, and it kind of takes you away from a lot of that stuff that we all, are so close to. But the 77 Olympia was the first Sandow, and as for those folks who don't know out there, every time we have a new winner, we engrave their name in the base of the Sandow. And I actually have one sitting here in my office.
Oh, tease.
And the one that I have in my office only goes is Brandon Curry's name. Mm-hmm. Of course, with Mamdou Alsbaye, with Big Ramy winning this year, we will not have to add a new name to the trophy this year. But the trophy has changed in size. It's a little bigger than it was back then. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you what, it's very, very heavy. And not just heavy for me, heavy for you, heavy for anybody. I mean, this thing is an absolute beast to pick up. But it's a beautiful work of art.
So, I mean, this is your 3rd Olympia now. You started in 2019. Do you enjoy the job? Do you really get fulfillment out of it?
I do. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy it for all the reasons that I just said. I think I enjoy it a lot also because of my background. I wasn't just an event guy that was hired to run an event. I had all the jobs in this industry. I was an editor. I was a commentator. I was a reporter. I was a publisher. I did digital content, a producer. We made, movie. There was just a lot of layers to what I've had the chance to do in all corners of media. And on the business side, selling, advertising and just all elements, even developing sports nutrition products, and every corner of what this industry is, I've had a chance to kind of stick my toe in those waters enough so that now that I'm in this position, I feel I have a really good perspective on what does a photographer need when he gets to the Olympia?
Yeah.
What do you need to do your job better? I don't feel, when I get calls from media, it's not a nuisance to me. I understand because I've made those calls. I've been on that side of the table. I know what it's like to be limited in my ability to do my job, especially when a lot of photographers and reporters and bloggers, they're not making a lot of money. They're there because they love this stuff, and they're doing it in many cases for the purest reasons. So for me, and even as supplement company owners and the exhibitors and the sponsors we deal with, I know what it's like to be on that side of the table and try to find the best way to connect with customers, connect with fans. So I really feel this true connection to the other parts of the event. And I think that's what makes it special for me, because I'm now in a position to try to improve upon experiences that I had personally. I'm not just an observer or somebody who just kind of came in. I'm somebody who kind of lived it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I remember when David at AMI, David Pecker, when he offered me the job, I remember I said to him, David, I don't know if I'm your guy, I don't know if this is what I do. Maybe you might want to find somebody. And he says to me, I could find anybody who can throw headsets on and run an event. He goes, I want somebody who's had that experience, who's been around to understand what the public wants, what the fans want, what the athletes need, what the sponsors and exhibitors need. How do we connect with new audiences? And, so I think from that standpoint, it enables me to enjoy the job. Now, with that said, it's a stressful job, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. It comes at you from every different direction. If you saw the litany of concerns and complaints ranging from the athlete side to the sponsor side to the exhibitor side, travel, this, that, it really is an endless thing. And, you want to treat everybody like their problem is the biggest problem in the world, because to them it is. But fortunate enough to have a good team to kind of help make it more manageable. But it has its days. This year we're going to get a little bit more time. Next year's Olympia is in December, so we're going to have 14 months between this Olympia and next year's for me to catch my breath and maybe do a little traveling and take a vacation.
So do you have like a sort of set plan of what you do after the Olympics? Like, right, okay, then literally the next day, a couple of days after, I am going to just do this for 2 weeks or 3. What's your plan? What do you do?
Okay, so immediately after the Olympia, we have to close out the books on the event. That takes a few weeks. Got to get everybody paid. We got $1.6 million in prize money to send to deserving athletes around the world. That takes a little bit. And I also spend a lot of time thinking about, what I want to do better, what parts of the weekend we can improve. Unfortunately, I was not born with that smell the roses chromosome. I don't have that. I don't really rejoice and celebrate much. The minute the show's over, I'm already thinking about what we can do better next year. And I almost wish I had more of that, stop and enjoy things more. It would probably make me a happier person, right? Because if you have that, you're enjoying life better. But I'm relentless in what I do and always trying to figure out ways to do things better. And there were things this year that I'd like to improve, things that we won't talk about today, but just little things that I saw in fan experience and VIP experience and ways that we can do. Like, a little thing, as you can see, our Olympia merchandise has turned into a major thing. People are wearing our jackets, our shirts, our stringers, our leggings, our coffee mugs and bumper stickers. And I mean, the Olympia apparel line has really blown up, and you can get all that stuff at the, MrOlympia.com. But there was lines around the building to get that merchandise. Oh, hang on, let me fix this here. There was lines around the building to get that. Geez, hang on a second. Nope. I'm falling apart here. So let me fix this for you.
Okay.
So there was huge lines to get into that merchandise area. When I say huge lines, I mean like lines wrapping around the entire expo.
Wow, fantastic.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to create some extra value so that VIPs, this was actually something Jake had thought of. Jake's really focused on the VIP experience and making sure that the VIPs get all their possible value. Making it so that VIPs don't have to wait in those lines. I'm also excited about the wellness division, what that's going to do for our show next year. Of course, you guys know we didn't have it on the evening stage this past year. Mm-hmm. We're going to move it to the evening stage this coming year, and I think that's going to do a lot to sort of amp up our Friday night experience as well. And then, of course, we moved to Planet Hollywood, and we're now going to be in a whole different venue right on the Las Vegas Strip, which is going to open the door for us to do even more technologically advanced things, tapping into different ways to kind of wow the audience and make jaws drop and eyes pop a little bit more. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, and we're going to try to do what we can.
So you're going to alternate between Orlando and Las Vegas. Why not just keep it in one place permanently?
Yeah, so, and I don't know definitively what we're going to do. I just know this. The East Coast of the United States has a very significant presence in what we do, from New York to the Carolinas to Georgia to Florida. And there's fans on the East Coast. There are companies, exhibitors, sponsors on the East Coast that might not have wanted to go west to Vegas. So it's very it's a great opportunity to connect with those crowds. I guarantee you there are people, many people, probably a majority of the crowd that was at this year's Olympia, they were going to the Vegas Olympia. And then on the Vegas side, you get that whole California, Arizona, Nevada, Las Vegas crowd, and we want to basically connect with them. So I think there's intrigue in the notion of being able to sort of work both coasts here in the U.S. But I also know that to some extent, there's fans around the world that want the Olympia to come to them as well. So don't rule that out either. We're always talking about ways and parts of the world that we could bring the Olympia to and share that experience. And I would imagine that an Olympia held in your neighborhood would be a pretty big deal.
Go on then. Yeah.
There's tremendous opportunities from the UK to Dubai, to areas throughout Asia, Latin America. There's just, and again, it might be years before all that comes to fruition, but there's definitely things that we're always exploring. And even our champions now, you look at Big Ramy and you look at Hadi Chupan and you look at athletes, William Bonac, they're coming in from all around the world. And, we see that, and we see that is helping us grow the popularity in those regions. So we want to do our part to maybe explore those possibilities as well. Who knows?
Are you talking about moving the Olympia or doing like the Arnold Classic and having multiple Olympias? Like the Arnold Classic all over the world? Is that what you're saying?
There will only be one Olympia as we know it. We have the amateur Olympias, which are tremendous. We have a dozen of them around the world. They're very successful. There are chances to get a pro card, and they're a great signature event series as part of the NPC worldwide. So we love the amateur Olympias, but there will only be one Mr. Olympia title, because what makes the Olympia different than any other event is it is the Super Bowl, if you will, of the sport. It's the World Championship. I love going to the Arnold. The Arnold's a great show. They do a great job, but the Arnold is not the World Championships of what we do. Yeah. So they have the freedom to go ahead and put on different events and give out more Arnold Classic titles. And we have a responsibility to protect the sanctity of the fact that the Olympia is the, top of the mountain. So we can't just go ahead and have multiple people walking around calling themselves Mr. Olympia. We already have that reality in the different divisions. That's another conversation, but we're not looking to create a situation where we water down that title. So I wouldn't expect that to happen anytime soon.
I'd like to talk about our good friend, George Peterson, because obviously that was, obviously his family and friends, but I actually thought about you guys as well, having, with all the kind of what you've got to take that week, that happening, I did think about you and your team and Angelica and everyone. I don't even know where to start on it really, but it's, what was it like when you got that news and you're literally in the thick of promoting the Olympia? What was that like?
Yeah, so Tamer called me and he said, I have to come talk to you. And Tamer and I keep real busy during the Olympia. So when he said that, I told him where I was and I had him come over, and he doesn't typically do that. We don't go meet with each other. We're so busy. And for about 10 minutes while I was waiting for him to come talk to me, I was nervous. I couldn't have imagined what he needed to talk to me about. It was so out of character for our routine. And he came over and he told me, and it crushed me, Giles. It crushed me because for so many reasons. It crushed me because he's such a good guy. That's the main reason why it crushed me. Big heart. Whenever I would walk into a gym, I once saw him training at Ben Pekulski's gym in Tampa. I've seen him at Big Steve's gym in New York, Powerhouse. And he's one of those guys that just really lit up a room. Always made everybody feel really good to be around. Always had a moment for the members. always took a moment to tell you how great you looked. I remember when I was in Tampa training and I saw him there, and look, I'm not I don't have a world-class physique. I'm a regular guy, right? I go in there, I do my thing, and yeah, he told me to take off my shirt, and,
Fantastic.
and I did.
Yeah.
I took it off. I had that pump going, and
Yeah.
and it was fun. And he, in his very unique way, he made it a point to like tell me how good I looked, and gave me some tips. But he did it in a way that was so sincere, and just it meant so much to me. I didn't need to hear that. I'm not a guy who's looking to compete in the Olympia, but the fact that it meant something to him to take that time, and he does it with other people. He did it with other people, and I thought it was just a really neat example of the kind of guy that George was. And we shot some video together to promote the Olympia. I didn't even have it in my heart to post it. I was going to post it the other day and share it, and I didn't even have it in my heart. It really is a reminder that. I know I said this when I opened the press conference. I'm sure you probably heard that. But it really is a reminder that there's so many messages being thrown at us every single day. People dying young, friends, family, COVID, disease, all sorts of crises that occur. And then this thing with George, who was supposed to compete on our stage 2 days later, it really reminds us that we argue about the dumbest shit. We get upset about the stuff that just doesn't matter. Yeah. We debate over politics, and we tell each other, you're right, no, you're wrong, no, I'm right, no, you're wrong. And we disconnect, and we struggle with relationships because of things that don't matter. And that's what I think when I think about George, because George should be here right now. George could have won that Olympia. George was really good.
I saw. George
would have been right there with Derek and battling out for that title. Mm-hmm. And he looked great. But more importantly, he had a smile right to the end. I spoke to some folks who had dinner with him. I think he went to IHOP or something the night before, and everybody just said the nicest things about his attitude and his energy, and he looked healthy. And I don't know what happened. I really don't know the details. I'm waiting to find out. I definitely mourn with his family. I know he lived with his mom, and I just can't even imagine what they're all going through. I know what it is for us, and I can only imagine what it is for them. And I hope on some level, there is some lesson to be taught here, because it can't keep happening. I don't know if this was related. I don't know what this was related to. I don't think any of us do, but I'm eager to find out. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, we all care a lot about George, and it really floored us. Yeah. It took our breath away. It really did.
I thought Chris Bumstead's speech as well as yours at the press conference, I thought it was really, really fitting and really quite comforting as well for everyone, because it was, like I said, it was a huge wallop, something that was so out of the blue, But, and it's just, I think it's a testament to some of the athletes as well, that they still managed to kind of get through it and do it and do what basically he would have done and just go on and compete, but I just want to acknowledge that, because obviously it's such a huge thing to happen. And I really thought about you guys. I thought about everyone, his friends, his family, everyone. But right, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I just want to acknowledge that. But so Dan, are you taking a hot vacation or anything, or no? Are you straight back to work?
Yeah, I think I might have to slide out I might have to slide back out to Vegas for a few days. We have to finalize some of our deals in Vegas for different parts of the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to do that. Don't be shocked if I find my way to a cabana somewhere at some pool party. Although I'm not much of a pool party guy, but I wouldn't mind finding a nice quiet spot where I can relax and catch my breath for a few days. And of course, it's always fun to head out to Chandler, Arizona, which is the home base for Olympia and Muscle and Fitness and Wings of Strength, and Jake's building, which is a really cool spot, by the way. Jake has done an incredible job of building this headquarter facility that would blow your mind if you saw it. So that's always fun. Arizona is a real it's funny, we don't always think about it as destination places, but it's beautiful and great place to go for hikes and, enjoy that. Some of the best restaurants you'll find out in that area and great spa resorts. So hopefully I can work some of that into my plans in the coming weeks.
Well, I think you and Jake have proved to be a very, very good alliance. I think it's really, obviously happened last year, and the way that you two have worked out and the way that you've assembled your team, it seems to be working very, very, very smoothly and very well. And I think I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I'm so glad that you guys are in charge, basically.
Well, look, it's a collaboration with Jim Mannion, the Pro League, Tyler. Mm-hmm. Obviously I'm very fortunate to work, as I mentioned, with a team that includes folks named Tamer Algindi and Angelica Nebbia and Caden Riley and Martin Carrillo and Tim Gardner and Sophia Evangelista and, Heather and really everybody who works with us. They're just the best at what they do. I'm going to be honest. I'm sure I'm biased. There's some great teams out there, great production groups out there, but I know what we've been faced with. I know the curveballs that we've had to swing at. And I know that with this group, there is no mountain too tall and, no challenge too great. And we've been very fortunate enough to come together and solve some big problems and keep a great tradition going.
You seem very, very tight team. Like I see that you all work together very, very well. It's just like when that happens, it's a constant progression then, and it seems like there could be absolute madness going on behind the scenes, but it all comes good, and I think I think it's just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Because you've got a fantastic team there, and Also, I'll show you something cool. Can I show you something cool? So we've just got our posters for the Ashley Olympia All-Star Tour.
Excellent.
We've got some nice tickets. We're going to get some holograms for them, and got some nice flyers. We're going to go to all the different venues next week and do some promotion and stuff. So, and of course, I really appreciate you kind of giving us support with that. But
sure, no, those All-Star tours are great because really it's all about reaching out and connecting. We'll have to get you some more champions to work with, and I know you guys are always doing your part to spread the positive word, and also the folks over at Muscular Development and Steve Bleckman. They've all been so supportive of what we're doing, and I know we all appreciate it.
Dan, I'm going to let you go. I think we said 30 minutes, and you've gone 7 minutes over, so I won't take up any more of your time.
That's okay.
But I really appreciate you coming on, man. I really appreciate you taking the time, and it's always good to kind of connect with you. And I think it was last December I spoke to you on for the Pro League Hype show.
It might have been just under a year, but I've probably aged about 10 years since then. So hopefully next time, I was just talking to Jay Cutler the other day, and I was telling Jay, whenever I see Jay looks younger. Yeah. So whatever Jay's doing is what we all need to be doing, because I swear, whenever I see that guy, his skin looks better. He looks more rested. I don't know what his secret is, but I think Jay needs to write a book or do a video on just how to look younger every year, because whenever he shows up at the Olympia, I look at him and I say, how come we're all getting older looking and you're getting younger looking? So that's a pretty fun thing. But no, man, I appreciate all the love and everything that you're doing, and we'll try to do a better job of staying in touch this year. Dan, thank you so much for coming on Global Muscle, mate, and I'll speak to you very soon. Sounds great. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Dan. All right. Okay, guys, it is hot news for episode 39, season 4 of MD Global Muscle. It's time for hot news. Insert Barry White music, please. You find that really creepy, don't you? Well, I like it. I think I sound very sexy. Right, okay, then. Obviously, the big news is the Legion Sports Festival, run by amazing show promoter Chris Mines. Is it Mines or Mins? I'm sure somebody said Chris Mines, and it doesn't sound right because it's got two N's. What do you think? Chris Mins? Yeah, Minis. Somebody else said Minis. Stupid. Chris. I'm going to say Chris Mins and obviously his lovely lady, Bojana Veselovic. Bojana? What? Head. Oh, head. Sorry. Right, okay. So I'll keep my head back because I keep going in the picture. You don't like that? Doesn't look good. Right, okay. And I keep fiddling with the mic. Got to stop doing that. Right, okay. I've just had coffee and blueberries. Right, okay. Legion Sports Fest was last weekend. Unbelievable event run by Chris Mins. Whatever, and one of the world's best show promoters for the Pro League and for the NPC. I mean, his events are they're just next level. I mean, it's literally like a mini Olympia,
So I want to give some, obviously it was last weekend. There was, oh my God, there was open, figure, bikini. There was a lot of masters classes. I think he's really the only promoter that actually really kind of, to my mind, I think he's the only promoter that's doing masters classes at the moment. And it was a huge success by all accounts. So let's go through. Let's see what they've put up. So look at that poster. Look at that. I mean, do you know what? I've seen some show promoters and you look at their posters and you think, how is that that sort of editing program, whatever, what's it called? What do you call it? The program to put it together? No, like the Adobe or whatever. How is that, like some of the ones they use to put these posters together, you think, how is that even accessible anymore? How is that? It's like VHS, it's like, and then you see this and, there's J.M. Mannion, there's Dave Henry, that's Danny Hester, that's Missy, isn't it? That's Missy, or that's not Oksana, Missy, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. That's Ashley. Oh, it's actually cool. That's so cool. Stop touching the mic. And that is Rash Rabal. But look at the effort that goes into that. I mean, that's just their show poster. And that, I mean, you have to commission that to a special art. I've actually spoke to the artist. Have they tagged him? No. But it just shows the kind of effort that some of these show promoters around the world are going to, and I think it's just absolutely amazing. This was very cool. Do you remember the guy with the beard, the white beard?
Kind of. Yeah,
well, he basically just shaved it down to a very, very cool-looking mustache. Who's got the best mustache, Chris Minns or Rusty Jeffers? Rusty. Oh, I can't believe Chris is going to be pissed. Right, okay. But look at Rusty Jeffers. He won the over 50s. I mean, actually, I saw a picture where he competed in 2012, and he looks better now. So what was he like in his late 40s then? He's probably in his late 50s now, I'm guessing. But I mean, here's a guy that was placing top 10 in the pro shows like the Ironman like 20 years ago, So about 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And look at that. Look at the condition. Some of the Masters guys, though, obviously they've got the muscle maturity. They have... I mean, they've got that graininess and that detail that sometimes the young guys sometimes can't get. Some of the younger guys, they really struggle to get that condition. But look at that. I mean, look. And he won. So he won the 50-plus, over 50s Pro Masters bodybuilding. He also won Best Moustache, much to Chris Minns' chagrin. Oh, so yeah, well, they agree with you, Lauren. So there you go. So... So I just want to give a shout out to Rusty Jeffers. I mean, that's really fantastic. I love seeing these kind of, it's great when you see guys come back after many, many years, but it's great because sometimes you expect to see like a shriveled version sometimes, or, a lesser version, more I'm trying to say. So to see Rusty Jeffers looking absolutely phenomenal is absolutely fantastic. And of course we had Dave Henry looking absolutely incredible, winning the 212. Yeah, he won the 212. So was that 212 Masters I saw? I'm sure I saw Masters. 212 wasn't listed. I thought it was only open body, but no. So anyway, yeah, he won the 212. Great to see Dave Henry still going. I remember being at the 2016 Olympia, and Dave Henry was 5th in the 212, and I had him second next to Flex Lewis. I thought he was, and I think, was it 2019, he was out of the top 10 at the Olympia, and I was very shocked by that. So I'm not sure why. I mean, Dave Henry was the 2008 202 Olympia champion. So the first, hang on, was that right? Yeah, and then Kevin English. Yes, so he was the first winner of the what became the 212. Do you know the 212 wasn't just the 202? It used to be the 210. Who won the 210? Oh, you don't know. You won't know. It was won by Silvio Samuel. That was when they the original. What year was that? 2007, I want to say. They introduced it to a couple of shows. I forget the name of the show. But you could do both. So you could do the Open and the 212. And in fact, Flex Lewis, his first pro show was in, I want to say 2009. No, it was early before that. It was 2007. He did the Tampa. He took 7th in the Open and he won. No, he got second. He got second to Jose Raymond in the 202. But and then it became that you could only do one or the other. You couldn't do both. Oh, look, Boston Mass. They are just Jose Raymond, his old nemesis. saying congrats, brother. So nice to see Jose Raymond as well, still very involved in the industry, doing a lot of coaching. He has a show on MD called No Way Jose. I love a good pun. Yeah. So big congratulations there to Dave Henry, and he still looks as good as he's ever looked. There's no decline in his physique, and I hope excited to see him back at the Olympia next year, 2022, because he wasn't at the Olympia this year. So I'd love to see him back up there in the top 6, because I think Dave Henry is just completely unreal. Interviewed him once, wasn't the best interview, gotta be honest. So yeah. There you go. So maybe we'll get him on Global Muscle, actually. Yeah. See if he's how he's doing. So what else is it? Yeah, those trophies. We did that last week. Here we go. Oh, here's the guy that did 2 shows in 2 days. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? I know somebody else that did that. A guy called Kyron. Kyron was at Muscle Contest today, where he won the IFBB Pro Border States. So he won the men's physique division at the Legion, not once but 2 times. So he did 2 shows in 2 days. Oh yeah, 9-hour drive from San Diego to Legion here in Reno, Nevada. Talk about a next level mindset. Wow. So he did 1 show on the Saturday at the Muscle Contest. I don't know where that was. Border States? I don't know where that is. And then drove 9 hours to go compete at the Legion Sports Fest and get one of those very sexy trophies. That's not as cool, that one, actually. I like the more detail on the body. Is that because men's physique are less muscular? Yeah. Sorry, I just dissed men's physique there, haven't I? And there we have the OG, the very first men's physique Olympia champion, Mark Anthony. I forgot the year it was. What was it? 2000? What was the first men's physique? 2010? 2011? 2012? Come on. 2000. I'm sure it was 2012. He won the first, or was it 2013? It's 12 or 13. That was the first ever men's physique Olympia, Mark Anthony, and his girlfriend has just won something rather special as well, hasn't she?
Olympia!
Hey, Jennifer Dory, yes. So Mark Anthony, so there's a power couple. Mark Anthony, the first ever men's physique Olympia champion. He's been with Jennifer Dory, the new women's bikini Olympia champion. So, yes, that's cool. Cool. Lucas Coelho, I think he was guest posing, I believe. So he's a good poser. He was, I completely forgot what his placing was at Olympia now. It was top 10. Definitely top 10. Was it top 10? Yeah. So anyway, but he did very well. Won the Portugal Pro in the 212 early this year. Here's a guy to watch out for the 212. Didn't quite hit the mark at the Olympia. Looks very good. Oh, is this live stream commentary? Yeah, there we go. Danny Hester and the new women's Olympia fitness champion. Dan looks a bit bored, doesn't he? He's like, give me a chance to speak, Whitney. Come on. So, yeah. So, is that a camera? That's not a camera. That can't be the camera they're using. Yep. Oh, there'll be some news coming soon on somebody else that's doing some live stream commentary in Europe, possibly at a pro show, maybe Spain. But you didn't hear that from me. Yes. So I think that seems to be, now that shows are changing and evolving, and now there's all these live streams. It seems that every show now has live stream commentary for the fans to really follow. And I think they're just trying to upgrade the whole live stream experience. I think with COVID, I think it gave the opportunity for fans who maybe don't want to or can't attend pro shows and even amateur events. And I think now fans are really using things like live streams to access the shows. And I think they're such a high quality now. I mean, the Olympia, the live stream, oh my God, absolutely amazing. So anyway, I just want to give a shout out. There's not much on now because obviously the show has just kind of happened. Should we have a look at this backstage? Is that a photo or a video? Oh, time for big words. Please, Sarah, I can hear.
Yes.
It's not in my head.
No.
Okay. Right, okay then. And next hot news is we're going to go to Bodybuilders Without Borders at Daniel L. Because I want to go through, let's have a look at the results of the Legion Sports Fest. So we got first place Sean Clarida, straight firsts there. See, look, 3-3, so it wasn't even close. Second place was Regan Grimes. There he is, 6-6, so he was straight seconds. Third place, 9-12, so he got 21 points. That is Sergio Oliva Jr. So let's have a look at fourth. So he beat Tonio Burton, the 212, by 1 point. So it was very close between Tonio and Sergio there. That's interesting. I tell you what, the 212s, absolutely, it's proving now that 212s don't even have to step up or step over to the Open to do well. They can actually be 212s and compete as Open and do very well, because you've got Sean Clarida there, who was actually 4 pounds lighter than he was at the Olympia. And he was 174 pounds, and the guy is winning with straight first in very, very good lineups. So that's absolutely incredible. Tonio Burton, I had no idea how this guy was going to look as an Open, next to the Open guys, but 4th place, nearly beating Sergio there. 1 point behind him. That's really impressive. Okay, 5th place, we got Martin Fitzwater. How old is he? 20-something? Too young? 25, 24? Brett Wilkin, training partner over in Denver, Colorado at Armbrust Gym. Very famous home of Phil Heath. 6th place, we've got Joe Seaman. Yeah, I think that was the best Joe Seaman we've ever seen. He looked good at the Arnold UK. I think he was 7th there. I think 7th or 8th. I think he was 7th. But he definitely brought a better package for this show. And I really, really hope, and I think I'm not even hoping, I think I'm actually being told by Joe that he is doing the Toronto Pro in, I can't remember how many weeks it is now. I'll have to go and check. 7th place, Stan DeLongo, that's Stanimal, Sean Roden's old training partner, prepped by Patrick Tour. He looked good. That was his first show as an Open. I think this is the guy that's gone from over 3 divisions as a pro. He's been a men's physique. He then moved up to Classic, and now he's moved up to Open, and he's getting a very good placing. Top 10, in a show like this with 18 competitors. I think that's pretty good. That's a win for me. 8th place, Max Charles. That's obviously disappointing. That's not what Max Charles is really. We'd really expect him to be kind of first call out at his best. He was 8th place at the Arnold Classic in 2020. And he's always a front runner. It's very unusual that he's not in like the top 3 or the top 4, top 5 at, kind of all these kind of pro events. So I don't know what's going on there. I've not seen any pictures. So maybe he just needs to take a break. 9th place. Kenneth Jackson. That's cool. Interviewed Kenneth at the Gaspari stand, the Arnold Classic in 2011. Nice guy. Used to be prepped by Neil Hill. I don't know whether it's still being prepped, but great physique, great potential. 10th place, Patrick Moore. Oh, God, that's not good. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have not seen any real good pictures of Patrick yet. I just saw like a blurry kind of comparison shot. And, 10th place. He was 14th or 15th, was he? 15th at Olympia. 14th, 15th at Olympia. He was 10th place at Olympia in 2019, and he's won the Cali Pro twice. This is a very good pro that really, at his best, would not be 10th in a show like this. So 11th place, Brandon Hatton. I don't know this gentleman. 12th, I don't know these guys. This is and also Cedric McMillan, 26. He was in the first court. He was in the first round because he got placed. Hang on, what would that have been? So he would have been around 7th, 8th place in that first call-up. The judges would have had him there because he's got the same points as Max Charles, who was 8th. And then he did DNF, means did not finish. So I don't know what happened. I've not seen any decent pictures, but I'd be interested to know why he did not finish. Was he kind of was he a bit pissed off that he wasn't in the first call out, and maybe he knew he wasn't on? But to be honest, I don't like to see that. If there wasn't some legitimate reason, or he was feeling off or ill, I like to see competitors, see it through, because I think that's not right, because I think that's a bit unsportsmanlike. I know Kai Green did that a few years ago at the Prague show, but it's pulled a sickie because it looked like he was going to be about 4th or 5th place. It was like 2013 Prague, I think it was, and then he said he was feeling ill or something, and then he was sat in the audience looking quite okay, watching the other guys, because I think he knew he wasn't going to win. So I think I don't like that. I think it's very unsportsmanlike. Correct. Yes. So that was disappointing for Cedric, because I think we all wanted, because Cedric was supposed down to do the Arnold Classic a few weeks ago. He ended up doing the live stream commentary, and we didn't see him. So I don't know what happened here. Is he be interesting to know the reason why he didn't, why he wasn't, in the contention, because there's a guy that could have won this. At his best, he would have been him and Sean Clarida. Sergio, I would imagine that would have been like the last 3 or 4 guys, because Cedric he's won the Arnold Classic 2017. You know, he's been 7th in the Olympia. He's won multiple pro shows. He's beat Hadi. He's beat Brandon Curry. Here's a guy that is a big name. I mean, he's a real kind of A-lister of the Olympia, you know, and he's won the Arnold Classic. So, you know, says it all. So, yep. So what else we got? Let's have a look at some video. Is that video or photos? That's a good photo, isn't it? That's a really good quality photo. Photos from Digital Muscle Media. So, yeah. I tell you what, I'm really impressed with what Regan brought. We're gonna come to Regan a little bit more later in this hot news, because this year's been quite interesting, because I've seen guys like Austin Cargo from 16th to 2nd in, was it a week? Was it a week from between Tampa and Texas, I believe? You know, to go from 16th to 2nd in 1 week, that's something I previously would not have thought was even possible, because that's quite a jump, you know, pretty much when you're going up against the same guys, and to improve that much, I mean, that's a significant jump. But to see what was it 3 weeks with Milos, I mean, look at that. I mean, he looks so much better than he did at Olympia. I think he was 14th place at the Olympia. Patrick Moore's 15th. Sergio there looking, I think he looks better here than he did at the Arnold Classic a few weeks ago, when he took, I can't remember what he placed now. What did he place? He was top 6. Mine's gone completely blank. But Antonio Burton there looking look at these 212s, man. Two of the tallest, widest, you know, two of the best kind of open guys there up against, you know, two of the top 212 guys. And look at that. I mean, he's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So that is and there's not a lot separating any of these 4 guys, because they've all got their own kind of physique attributes. But look at that, the 212s. Who'd have thought that the 212s, even the best 212s, would be so competitive against the best open guys? I think it really says a lot for the quality now of the 212s. And also the quality of the judging as well, because it means they're giving the kind of the shorter, smaller guys a real proper look. Because in years past, you could get a good tall guy against an equally as good or even slightly better short guy in terms of their overall physique, and they would never get placed ahead of the open guys. But now it's happening, and I really respect that, and I really appreciate that, because that's a very good sign for bodybuilding. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, they're good photos, these. Oh, hang on, shrink that down a bit. Yeah, Sergio looks good. Yeah, he needs to bring his back up, doesn't he? Yeah, I think when Sergio really kind of levels up the back, I think he's definitely going to move up, and I think he's going to be a threat for things like the Arnold Classic and multiple pro shows. I mean, he won the 2017 New York Pro in 2017, 2nd at the Tampa and the Chicago. He's always a first call out guy, even in the Arnold Classics. You know, he had 5th place at the Arnold Classic last year. I can't remember what he placed this year. Isn't that weird? What was he? But look at Clarida. Wow. Look at that. I mean, come on. I mean, Regan Grimes looks bloody good there. You know, the glutes, the hams, you know, everything looks separated. And I think that's the first time I've ever seen Regan look as good in contest pictures as he does on Instagram. Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm saying it's a good thing. I'm saying he's done it with Milos. So whatever you do with Milos, keep bloody doing it. It's incredible. But, I mean, God, Sean Clarida, 174 pounds. It's funny when we had him on last week, on the last episode. If you look at my face, I look a bit baffled right at the end of the interview, and he said, "Oh, Giles, also keep an eye out for some big news on my page. Keep watching." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And it didn't even register in my brain. And then it took 3 hours later, it was announced that Sean was doing the Open here, and I was just like, "Oh my God, such a shock." I wish he told me, but obviously it wasn't. He wanted, the promoter, Chris Mins, wanted to announce it on, there, which is understandable. So how do I get off this? Right, okay. So let's have a look. Any more video? What else we got? Oh, we got video. Yeah, come on in. We want to see some bit. Do you want sound or? Very consistent. Yeah. No, we don't want sound. It's pointless. You want to hear my voices, not Whitney and Danny's. So yeah, when it blows up a little bit. So let's have a look. How do we get rid of that? Oh, there we are. Yeah, look at Sean. He's such a little tank, isn't he? 2020, 212 Olympia champion. Derek Lunsford came back like a man possessed this year. And even then, Derek Lunsford won the Olympia 212 this year. But it was very, very close between him and Sean Clarida, obviously the current and defending champion. at the time. But I think Sean looks actually a couple of % better here than he did at Olympia. I think he's definitely, I don't know, I just see more. There's more fullness, there's a bit more hardness. I think his condition's slightly better. Well, he was 4 pounds lighter, 3-4 pounds lighter here than he was at the Olympia. Because he said he was 1 pound heavier at the Olympia this year. He was 178 pounds and he's 174 point something here. So 3-4 pounds lighter, and look at him. He looks bigger and better. You know, you'd think sometimes the smaller, shorter guys would think, right, I'm going to come in as heavy and as full as I can. But that's pretty much 9 times out of 10, that's usually a mistake. Because, you know, no one cares what you weigh on stage. They care about the condition, the separation, the fullness, which you will get when you get your body weight and your... It's Tonio, look. He's loving it. He's a cool guy. I like him, actually. I have to get him on Globe Muscle. Reply to my DMs, please. But, yeah, fantastic top 4 there. So let's look a bit more. I want to see if... we had Natalia Coelho as well, won the women's physique. She was the runner-up at the Olympia this year in the women's physique. I think she's been runner-up to Shanique, and then she was, if I'm right, and then she was 3rd last year, climbed up to 2nd place behind Zara Villegas this year, and look at her. She would have already been qualified, wouldn't she, from the Olympia? Yeah. So anyway, she's won a pro show, and she's in the Olympia next year, regardless. So, but yeah, the condition looks very good. I didn't really see a huge amount of pictures of her from the Olympia for some reason. I can't think why. Let's have a look. Oh, video. Let's have a look at video. Oh, this is good footage. Whose footage is this? Is that somebody on the phone? Oh, looks good, don't it? Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, Regan Grimes, absolutely. I'll be honest, I thought Regan Grimes was a little bit overrated. I did. But look at that. Oh my God, he's stealing my pose there. Stealing my pose. Regan, I've got copyright on that, mate. Yeah, I tell you what. I think it was the right call. I think the placings were right. First, Sean. Second, Regan. Third, Sergio. It's not Sergio at his best, but it's just something going on in his waistline. It looks a bit... Something's going on, but he does look good. I mean, I think Sean Clarida won that clearly. I think the judges were right to put him straight first, because I don't think there's any argument that Sean Clarida was not the clear winner there. I mean, but wow, Regan. I think I'm starting to become a bit of a Regan fan, because I used to keep it quiet because I know he's so well. Well, I don't really care about that, but I knew he was so well loved. And I don't want to say someone's overrated, because you don't want to say something negative about, these top athletes, But I tell you what, what he was putting on Instagram, and with the potential this guy had, he was not really bringing it to the stage. Even when he's had, wins and second places at some of these shows, I just thought he's not bringing his best. But I tell you what we're seeing now, I think this is... Yeah, and he's still a work in progress. And he's a tall guy as well. He's like 6 foot tall, Regan. He's big. He's a big dude, But I tell you what, look at the symmetry. Look at that. I mean, he's got a beautiful physique. And he's kind of like the Chris Bumstead of the Open. He's that popular. He's got like millions of followers, and not as many as Chris. But, I mean, I don't think anyone in bodybuilding has got as many as Chris, by half. I mean, it's just... when we had Dan Solomon in this episode, when we actually finished filming... we were talking about Chris Bumstead, and he said, I tell you what, guys, he says, that guy is a freaking rock star. He's, and he's such a normal guy. But now I'm talking about Chris Bumstead. Let's get back to Regan. So, yeah, Sergio looks good there. It's good there. Yeah. I wonder if Sergio's going to do more shows, because I wouldn't mind. I would love to see him get like a win, maybe like say Prague or Romania or Toronto, and then he can shut it down, and then maybe he can prep for a full year and bring his absolute best to the 2022 Olympia, because he hasn't been seen at the Olympia since 2018. 2018. Yeah, he was at the Olympia in 2018. 2018, was he? No, I think he was there in 2017, but he qualified. Did he not qualify? Anyway, I can't remember, but he basically has not been seen at the Olympia for a couple of years, and we want to see him up there. And I think it'd be cool if he got a qualification, shut it down, and then came back to the Olympia next year and looked his all-time best. So that's what I'm hoping for with Sergio. I love this account. There's so much cool stuff on here. Oh, we had also at the Hurricane Pro, the Tim Gardner show. I think this was the same day, the day before. It was the day before, I think. Was it? Yeah. Alex Cambronero, he won the classic. So he's qualified already for the Olympia. Tell you what, it must be nice doing a prep. Say you're prep for the Olympia, and then there's a cluster of shows after, and you win one, and then you can shut it down all year, and you've got the pressure off. You've got the Olympia as your next show. If you don't want to, you don't have to do any warm-up shows. But that must be such a great feeling. Like James Hollinshead did last year. He didn't do the Olympia last year, even though he qualified. But getting an early qualification like that is that's kind of like a dream. Oh, look at that. Look at the tight midsection. I mean, his midsection is like a classic guy there. Beautiful symmetry. Do you like his physique?
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? It's really nice.
Really come together. Last year, I remember seeing him at Romania.
Yeah.
And this looks more polished.
Yes, he does. He just looks better, doesn't he? Everything looks better. I tell you what, whatever Milos is doing with these guys, and I know he trains them really hard, but to see what you can do with your physique in just a couple of weeks, if you have somebody that's, guiding you with your posing, with everything. And you notice he was doing the foot stomp, because I saw a post that Milos put up, and he was saying that he was trying to get him to do the 2009 Olympia J Cutler foot stomp. So that was something that Milos thought Regan needed to be doing, because I think you kind of, maybe people see him as like a new J Cutler. He's taller than J Cutler. He's bloody 6 foot tall. Look at that shot of Dave Henry. Look at that. Oh, he's the Masters guys. Look at Rusty. He looks amazing. I tell you what, Dave Henry still bringing it, man. He looks absolutely incredible there. I was gutted for him when he got, I think, 11th at the Olympia in 2019. I was absolutely heartbroken for the poor guy. And he was really he must have been, for someone that actually won the Olympia and was always in that top 2 or 3, it must have been absolutely devastating for him. So I don't know who this guy is. Oh, Johnny Sebastian signed off after 20 years of bodybuilding career. Signed off, medalled in all 3 divisions. Here, just battling out with 2 legends. I don't know what he won. What category did he win? He's got a couple of medals there. So I'm assuming he was one of the other masters at the show. Right, okay, I think that's enough on Bodybuilders Without Borders. So we're going to go to... God, we're going very slowly here today. We'll pick up the pace a bit. Right, greedy. Okay, there's not much on here. Oh, let's have a look at some pictures. Well, we've seen a lot about the Legion sport. Let's have a look. Different angle there. Yeah, look at Clarida. He's definitely better than he was at the Olympia. That 3 or 4 pounds off. Look at that. I mean, I don't think he was quite as sharp as this at the Olympia. He was, you're talking like 2% off that only beady-eyed people like me would spot. But everything just looks better. Yeah, he's definitely... I wonder if he'd have brought this to the Olympia, whether he'd actually have beat Derek. I think it would have been... I mean, it was so close. No one would have argued if Sean had taken his 2nd Olympia title. Oh, look at him. He was so shocked. I saw the video. Where's the video when he was announced as the winner? Where is it? Let's have a look at Sean Clarida's posing routine. So let's have a look. Can't put the sound on because of the copyright. He's such a tank. I love Sean. Wow. And to think people... I wrote an article on him in MD a few months ago, and I interviewed him and spoke to him. And he was saying that, he says, for the last kind of I think it's 10 years or something, he's had people saying, look, it's pointless being a bodybuilder. You're never going to be big enough. You're never going to be thick enough. You're not tall enough. You'll never turn pro. You'll never win a pro show. You'll never win the Olympia. And every single year, he's actually, each one of those people that have said that, or anyone who said that, he's proved them wrong. 2015, he did his first Olympia. He was 155 pounds. And here he is at 174. And I mean, and he literally just looks like a hybrid between Ronnie Coleman and Flex Wheeler. I mean, it's just he's so good, isn't he? He's so impressive. And he's never blown his lines. He's never blown the waistline. And he's such a tank. But I love it. I love that fullness and that detail. And such a hard-working guy, I wonder if Ronnie Coleman's ever asked for a DNA test. Maori. Ronnie, you are the father. You ever seen that, Maori? Maury? The DNA test show? America? Oh, okay. Check it out. It's really great. It's not trash TV at all. Right. Oh, here we are. I'll show this one and then we'll move on to the next account. Here we go. Let's put some music on. Oh, bollocks. Okay. I need to stop swearing and get the volume on. Can we show that again? Superhero.
Well, in that case, your winner is Sean Clarita.
Yeah! Fantastic. Go, Sean. Hot news. Wow. Oh, my God. What's that?
Well, in that case, your winner is Sean Clarita.
Hang on. Okay, is that Superman music they're playing? Sounds like it. Well, it's that superhero theme, isn't it? Because if you look at the poster and all the other trophies, the superhero, they've all got capes. It's, Chris Min's. I tell you, wouldn't it be fun to go to a Comic Con with Chris and Biana all dressed up? All dressed up. What would you got? I'd be Batman. You'd be Catwoman. What would Chris and Biana be, though? I can't think. Biana, what would he be? What would Chris be doing? What would Chris be? Well, he got a beard. So we Thor. Oh, we digressing now. So basically, we've seen enough of the Fort Legion. What a fantastic event, though. And I'm so happy for Chris now. Obviously, now they've got less COVID restrictions. And, they're just... And he's promising... I did a show, the Hype Show for NPC News Online. And Chris said next year the expo is going to be 4 times bigger. So, wow. So that's absolutely incredible. Right, okay. Next one is Sean Clarita. Clarita. Right. There's not much on here yet. I think he's probably busy eating. But actually, no. Knowing Sean, he'll be back in the gym, pressing 200-pound dumbbells, saying, okay, come on, next set to win the Olympia next year, because this guy is, look at that. No, definitely much improved on what he brought to the Olympia. Yeah, he was just a little bit teeny bit off. Well, not off, but he wasn't quite like this at the Olympia. And it was enough for, obviously, with the improvements Derek Lunsford made to kind of sneak past him and win. Take the title off him. But I tell you what, the next few years are going to be very, very interesting with Sean Clarita, Derek Lunsford, and Kamal, because Kamal is still bringing it, and he is hungry for that title to get it back, because he won 2019. Sean Clarita won it 2020. Derek Lunsford won it 2021. So I tell you what, it's going to be... I feel sorry for any of the 212s that are trying to, sneak into that top 3, because they've really got to get past these 3 Olympia champions. So, yeah, just round here. If you look at here, like, those little bits where it looks like the skin's tearing, it looks better, doesn't it? Well, yeah.
It's going to burst out.
Yeah, he's such a monster. I love him. Yeah, it's so cool. So, well done, Sean. Proud of you, mate. Was this the one where he announced it? Hang on. There we go. If you thought my Olympia look was good, wait till you see what we are bringing this weekend. So, those eyes. It's like a Terminator. Yeah, sent from the future. Look at that. It's lats. My God, like wings. They're like Dorian thickness. I mean, when he actually lifts his arms up, the thickness and the roundness is like when Dorian Yates used to do a front lat spread. Look at that. He's just so... And I love that. I like thickness, but I like it when you see that kind of detail as well, like that. That's amazing. So what a mate. You took a huge gamble there by doing an open show, and it paid off, and you did it. So that's absolutely phenomenal. So 5 times pro champ. It's probably 6 now. Maybe he hasn't updated it yet. Do you know what? That's great. 470,000 followers. That's very good. I think you need to update your picture though, mate. Bloody hell, that's an old one. That's probably New York Pro 2014, 2015. Yeah, I would update that, mate. You're about 100 pounds heavier now. So, right, okay, we're going to go on. Next one is Milos. Milos I like Milos because he really covers the shows when he's there. He really sort of... let's have a look at... Okay, we'll focus more on Regan because that is his client. Let's have a look. No, I don't need music. Right, okay, come on. I want to see... Because Regan, man, I thought it'd be a couple of years away that we'd see this kind of package, but he did it in a couple of weeks, so that's very impressive. So, and I believe Regan is doing, I'm sure he's coming over this side of the world to do some post-Olympia shows, so he really wants to get his early qualification in. I've already seen him pose. You can see Milos. I think Jay Cutler has been helping him with his posing as well as Milos, I'm sure that's right. But see, these kind of aesthetic physiques, I like this slow... kind of aesthetic, kind of graceful posing. I think it really shows off, especially if you're bringing a different look to a show. You need to really pose a little bit more slower and more fluid, Lee, to really kind of show off that. Yeah, the conditions there, it's fantastic. I've never seen him in this condition before. Never. And he's a big kid, he's like 6 foot. He's not small.
Much improved from last year.
Yeah. When you talk about last year, a couple of weeks?
No, but like from when I first saw him.
Oh, right. Okay. You mean from last year at like Romania and Spain and everything. Look at that. Look at those. Oh, my God. See, I mean, it's this bit here, like that bit there. Like, it's just, he's got 3 cords. I mean, like steel cords. See that? We see this on Instagram, but it never quite comes to the stage until now. I thought his back shots were just perfect. I mean, look at that. There's nothing missing. The calves, stop it. The hamstrings, I'd like to see a bit more chest on him. I think he'd look better with a thicker chest. Because his shoulders, his arms, his legs, his calves, his back, his abs, his midsection, I think it would set his physique off beautifully. Maybe a bit more arms as well. Chest and arms maybe for next year. But look at that. Lovely X-frame, nice balance. He's not missing anything. The thing he was just missing before was bloody condition. And with Milos helping him, he's done it now. So he should have won. You already made a ton of progress with Regan since the Olympia, Coach Milos. Yeah, do you know what? You can't deny that. You cannot deny that he has made significant improvements with Milos. I mean, I think it's incredible what he's done in such a short space of time. So what else? What should we have a look at? Oh, this was people people saying that Regan should do classic. He's doing, and his weight limit cutoff would be 222 pounds, and he's weighed Regan on the day of the show 254 pounds. So I mean, to take off 32.4 pounds, he'd have to saw off a leg. So if you want to see a one-legged Milos in the classic, that's fine, but it might actually affect his symmetry. So there you go. Let's have a look backstage. Any music or... Here we are. Look, see? He's on the scales. Do you know what? I'd like to do this with Samson, though. I like to do this with Samson, because there's a lot of people who say, he's not 280, he's 240 tops, that's bullshit. But sometimes you've actually got to literally get them on the scale and film it for people to even... There'll still be people saying that's bullshit. So... Yeah, so there you go. Why on earth would he want to go classic? I think it's because he's got a very... I think that's a compliment, actually, because it means he's got a very classic physique. Look at that shot. Looks huge there. Oh, we saw this one. Oops, shit. Right, okay. Is that... That's not Regan, is it? Wow, look at that. The crazy lighting. He's got some really... I like the development of his lower body, like the sweep of the quads, like all these innie bits as well. Those adductors. Sometimes you don't see that. And he's even got like the top wellness glute bit. Look, he could be male wellness. No, because sometimes, like, you look at the wellness ladies, they've got the top bit on their glute that the bikini girls maybe don't have. He's got, okay. Gluteus maximus, medius. Yeah, bit more arms and chest, I think, for next year. I think that's how he could really get... you know what? I mean, Milos reckons he could be like an Olympia champion. And I think Regan is only... 28 or something. He's in his 20s, so he's already this good in his 20s. Actually, I did see for people who think he should go classic, he was classic in 2018, and he looked horrible. He did not look good. I think by coming down that far, his body just looked flat and soft, and like his body needs to be bigger to really kind of see the best version of him. He didn't look better for it. He looked worse for it. So he tried classic and it didn't work. And I'm really glad, because he went open, then classic, and then he's gone back to open, and this is where he needs to stay. And I mean, just keep working with Milos, mate, because you look absolutely magnifique. Fantastic. So fantastic job, guys. Like I said, I like being constantly surprised by what people can do with their bodies in a very, very short space of time. Because if you'd have said, if you'd have shown me a picture like that, say a virtual picture, and said, how long I would have said, yeah, a year, but not a couple of weeks. So it shows what can be done with the human body in a very, very short space of time. Let's have a look at Sergio, because Sergio was third. Get the sound off. Let's have a look. Sergio's a good poser. I think his best posing routine was the New York Pro, the 2017 when he won it. I think his the waist still looks a bit, doesn't it? Does it? Does that look to you? the waist doesn't look as tight as I've seen it in the past. It looks a bit, there's something going on with some, there's the waistline. The waistline doesn't look good on Sergio. I thought he was going to fix this after the Arnold Classic. And he is better than he was at the Arnold Classic. But I expected, like, the obliques, and there's a little bit of, if you notice when he's breathing, there's a little bit of distension, like lower ab distension. That could be something like food allergies or, see this bit here. This needs addressing. The question is, can he fix it, say, if he does Romania or Toronto? I hope he can. I hope he can get it sorted, because it does kind of spoil the picture a little bit. But if you see what Rowley did with his waist in 2016, it can be really addressed. Maybe he needs to start wearing those corsets. But this, it spoils his symmetry slightly.
Do they do those for guys?
Sorry?
Do they do waist corsets for guys?
Well, Rowley had one. Yeah, really. Well, yeah. The guys in Kuwait, they're big on it, because they could prove that they could get the guys big. But if you can get someone bigger and keep the waist smaller, that's really impressive. Yeah, it's blurry, isn't it? This area here is very blurry. I've seen him in better condition, mine. I have seen him in better condition. Yeah, this is all this. I mean, the glutes and hams are, But then again, next to Regan, he looks soft next to Regan. And definitely soft next to, that's not the best Sergio I've seen. I'd like to see Sergio really, really, really change a few things and really knuckle down now and get a win for next year, because he's capable of it. Because I think this is pretty much what he brought to the Arnold Classic, to be honest. I was expecting something a little bit different. But, at the end of the day, if it's just a conditioning issue and, like sort of waist tightness, that can be addressed in, like, look what Regan did in a couple of weeks. In terms of changing the physique. That was not the best routine I've seen from Sergio either. Sergio is capable of fantastic posing routines, but I think he's been lazy on his posing. I do. I think he's been a bit lazy on his posing, because he's capable of much better posing. So posing and condition, the two things I would go on about, on and on and on and on about. So I'm just calling it as I see it. So anyway, we're going to go for Milos now, but... we'll have to get Milos and Regan on the show together.
Yes.
We will make it so, Lauren.
Yes.
Yay. My God, I got to pick up the pace. Patrick Johnson, who we had on a few months ago. He finally got his pro debut at the Arnold UK. Took a pretty impressive fourth place. And he was down to do some more shows. But he put this post up the other day saying, apologizing to... Is he apologizing? Hang on. It's with heavy heart. I am sitting right now doing this brief update. I'm going to withdraw from all competitions for the rest of this calendar year due to health reasons. The old Patrick will ignore everything and risk it all for the vision only him can see, and complete the preparation for those two shows, because he was down to do Prague and Romania, but now he's not. Let me see if I've put that message on for him. I said, trying to give him a bit of support. Mate, you've made your pro debut now and made an impact. It takes a smart man to take one step back to go two forwards. Next year is next year. Rest up, regroup, and come back in 2022 and smash. So I think if you've had a good pro debut, and there's no shame in pulling out of shows. I mean, it's just so, but like I said, he's got fourth place. He's made his pro debut. It's more than he did last year when he was prepping, and then all the COVID and then all the flight restrictions right at the last minute meant he couldn't do a single show. So you're moving forward, mate, and you're bloody fantastic. And the best is very much, look at that, very much yet to come. So he's such a monster. Yeah, I like Patrick. He's cool. Cool guy. Yeah, so he will be back in 2022. So... chin up, mate. Just go and get massive and come back next year and smash everyone. Right, okay. Andrea Shaw, Ms Pretty Muscle, who was in this episode, the two-time Olympia champion. And for me, the clearest winner at the Olympia for this year, which is completely mind-blowing. So here we go. I thought it was a fight for second place. She's just completely, I mean, look at that. She obliterated everyone. And you've got Margie Marvelous there, who looks absolutely incredible. I think that's her best condition as well. She's insane. Yeah, incredible. And Hella Trevino as well. Another absolutely phenomenal athletes. I mean, And it's so great to see the Miss Olympia back. But look at bloody Andrea. I mean, God. I mean, she's like, that for me is like the female version of like 2003 Ronnie Coleman, where as soon as they walked out, it's like, right, okay, who's getting second today? But yeah, I mean, just fantastic representative for the Olympia title. So what we're going to have a look at, we have not a huge amount on here really. So we've put this shot. They put this shot in last episode. But very good poser as well. Prepped by posing by Sydney Gillen, the 5-time figure Olympia champion. Has helped her with her posing. There's a photo of them together. All right, there we are. So that is, so they got 7 titles, 7 Olympia titles between them, and there's her posing coach. That's so cool. Figure, ladies bodybuilding. You can see the difference in the shoulders. I tell you what though, I've noticed that figure ladies in the last year are getting more muscular and leaner, but Sydney Gillen's physique isn't getting more muscular and she's still retaining the title. So what does that tell us? So do you think they're just all just trying too hard to try and beat her, and maybe it's just the lines and the shape that they're trying to maybe beat her on muscularity? So I don't know. Right, okay. So yes, I just want to give a bit of love and respect to Andrea Shaw. So I think she's just going to she could be another Ronnie Coleman, like, you know, but in the Miss Olympia, and just keep winning and winning and winning, because right now she is so far ahead of the game. And I almost don't want to say that because you don't want to piss people off or give, you know, but I mean, the thing is though, you never know, you know, there might be somebody coming up or someone like Margie or Hella that might bring a package next year that is so impressive, you know, that they might take Andrea out. So let's, you know, because I think once I found with the men in the Mr. Olympia, once they go past 3 Olympias, the fans start to turn a little bit. The fans start to root against them. I saw it with Ronnie Coleman. I saw it with Jay Cutler. I certainly saw it with Dorian Yates. So I think, you know, they're all rooting for them the first 3, and then they turn. I know it's weird. It's so weird. Bodybuilding fans can be so fickle. Right, okay then. Next hot news is Romania Muscle Fest. We'll be at that one. With Ashley Coltwasser on the Olympia All-Star Tour. Pluggy, plug. It's a fantastic... my first time going to the Romania Muscle Fest, and I'm really excited, to be honest, because I've heard amazing things about this event. I've seen the live stream for the last 2 years, and I mean, the production and the stage and the lighting and the venue is absolutely next level. Fantastic job here by Jake Wood, Alina Popper, Tim Gardner. Who else? Who else is the team? Well, the Wings of Strength team. This is the Wings of Strength show. And it's, I'm so excited. And I've been to Romania. I went a couple of years ago. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it really is. I was so impressed. I can't wait to go back. It's very cheap as well if you want to have a nice weekend away, if you're elsewhere in Europe. So, We'll come to Romania a little bit more in the next couple of weeks as it gets closer, because this weekend is the KO squad, the Egypt Pro. But to be honest, I can't find much on it. I'm seeing posts by some of the athletes, and by all accounts, it's going to be an incredible show, big prize money, lots of categories. But I'm struggling to find anything to kind of bring up to kind of really sort of hype it, you know. So we'll just focus on the shows that I know I can get good information and pull stuff up on the screen. Right, okay, next hot news is Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, you get it? Clint Eastwood? You get it. Okay, good. Okay, right. Just checking. Quinton area. I mean, Quinton is, he's Canadian, I think was he 26? I mean, and yeah. This photo, isn't it? That what are you looking at?
26.
He's 20, I don't think he's older than 26. 25, 26, 27, absolutely tops. But love this guy's physique. To me, he's like a new Lee Haney. Look at that! Look at that! Do you know what? I think Lee Haney has commented, actually. I'm sure I saw. Where is it? Rafael Brandeo, Wesley Vissers, Ian Valliere, Samson Dowda, Phil Viz, Sulios. I must be imagining it then. But, I mean, he's down to do the... not Romania. He's doing Toronto in... like I said, I don't know how many weeks away that is. Sorry?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Bloody hell, that came out quick. But look at that. Look at the waist. incredible. Look at that tiny little waist. And he's tall as well. So, competing in 2019 did Vancouver. He looked very good at Vancouver. That was the one that was won by Haddy. Nathan Diasha was second. I can't forget the placing. Was he fourth, fifth, something like that? I'm sure Valier was in that one as well. Was he? Or I'm just talking shit. So, but yeah, look at it doesn't take an expert to see this guy has absolutely unbelievable potential. Look, his quads, his waist, his shoulder to waist. It looks like he's being drawn, doesn't it? Looks like he's like a freaking cartoon character. He's unbelievable. So, here's a guy in no rush, So, but look what he's bringing, and he gets in shape very fast as well. So, yeah, this is a guy that is bringing aesthetics to the open class, like Regan, like Mr. Olympia. What's his name?
Rami?
No, Sean Roden. Oh God, brain's going. I need more coffee. Too much coffee. Yeah. So Quinton. Sorry, again. He's doing the Toronto Pro in 6 weeks. So if he's looking like that, 6 weeks out, keep going, buddy. I think you're going to shock. I just hope the back matches the front because he looks incredible from the front. And I think that's where he maybe fell down in the back shots in conditioning and development. But, let's see what he brings this year because I'm a huge fan of Quinton Area. I think he's absolutely incredible and I'm rooting for him. And he's a good kid as well. And we like polite, nice people. So, yeah. Right, okay then. Okay, we're going to go to the Olympia Instagram. The reason I want to go to this one is just something I want to address and something I'd like you all to see. Where are we? Okay, I've lost it now. Where is it? Oh, shit. Where is it? Hang on, let's go down. Go down. Where is it? Right, okay. Is that video? Come on. Yes, no, it's a photo. Where is it? Come on, I gotta find it. Where is it? No, I'm not seeing it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, where is it? It was on the other day. Popped up on my feed. It's got to be a new post. It is not here. Oh, don't tell me they've taken it off. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Yes. Right, okay then. Okay, right, I'm going to zoom right in and I'm going to let you watch this. Okay, watch that. Yeah. Okay. Now, what do you see? Be honest now. Be objective. I'm a huge Rami. I'm a huge Haddy fan, but look closely. He's incredible. We all know Haddy's incredible. A lot of people even had him winning the Olympia this year, as they had probably last year. Well, even 2019, I think a lot of people had him winning. But just let you watch. He's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. I think when you watch the start of this video, it's more apparent. Yeah. There you go. Oh, you see it in the front. I actually said to myself, see? Okay. You see it, don't you?
I saw it.
Yeah. See, there. Can we pause that? Or can you pause it? Can you pause these videos? Or Oh, you can. Okay. Right. See, they've got a bloody thing over it. Yeah. See, this here. That is not good. Okay, look, I've been thinking a lot about this because I'm not putting Haddy down. I really love Haddy. I think he's incredible. I saw him at San Marino 2017, and I've been raving about it for 4 years straight. Okay, so say at the prejudging, you had Brandon and you had Brandon and Rami. It was extremely close. It was 1 point between Brandon and Rami. It was 8 points to 7. 8 to Brandon, whatever. 1 point, yes, and 7 Rami. If that had been, say that had been Haddy and Rami, and it was literally 8 points. No, can you get 8 points each? No. Well, if it was literally neck and neck, and then at the night show, it was the same, what do you think the judges would do? And if it was neck and neck, you'd be making their jobs very easy because they would go, well, look, Rami looks great, but Haddy's got this, so I'm going to give it to Rami. Do not give the judges an opportunity to place you down for something that actually can be addressed. And this has been brought up for several years now. I remember a pro talking about it 3 years ago to me. No, 3 years ago, sorry. about his shoulders, and it hasn't got better. It's actually got worse. Now, I'll bet everything I've got on that it's not synthol. I don't think an athlete like this would use synthol. I don't think they would use site enhancement oil, but it's definitely either gear, or maybe it's just growth hormone injections or peptides or anything, or even Winstrol. But at the end of the day, it needs to stop because it looks worse to me than it was a couple of years ago when it was also brought up. So for that to carry on, I think it's not good. It's really, really not good. So what I think needs to happen is he needs to just stop doing whatever he's doing to that area, put everything in the old glutes, and get some, even if, to be honest, I think that's to the point where it even needs surgery. I went to the 2001 Olympia with a friend, and he just competed, really big guy, and he just competed, and he'd been putting Winstrol on his shoulders, and he ended up getting a very, very serious infection. He had to have surgery, and I literally, because we shared a room, I had to change the gauze, I had to change the dressing, and I tell you what, when you take that dressing off, he had like a hole in his shoulder. You could put your finger in it, like that far. I'm not saying that's what he's doing here, but that can get infected. And my friend, he competed. I remember when it went kind of infected, and his whole left arm filled up with water. He still won his show, actually, surprisingly. But anyway, so my point is, let's watch again. Because this is, I was really annoyed because I actually pointed it out and pardon the pun. See, look there, look. There you go. See there. That shine, see that shine there? That's indication that area has been, because things with Hadi, he's a very straighted, very detailed physique, and then all of a sudden, douche, you've got this growth on equal sides there. You know, I know because I've done it. I used to put propionate in my triceps. I did. I used to put very deep, but I used to put it in very, very deep, and I never got infections, thank God. God, I remember one guy, and he'd been injecting in his glute, and he actually pulled his baggies down. He showed me, and I tell you what, he said, in the hole that's in the side of my glute, I could fit my house keys in there, like a little pocket. I know, but and thing is, once those things get infected, you can get septicemia, you can die. So, but I don't understand why it's not being addressed. It's really annoying. It's pissing me off. It's just, and the fans are going crazy. Look at that shine there. See? Oh, come on, man. I love Hadi, and but at the end of the day, there's people saying he should have won. There's no way they'll let him win with shoulders like that, even if he's the best. And it's a shame because he's one of the best in the world. And there's an argument for, here's a guy that could win the Olympia. He's on everyone's tail, you know? But to say he should have beat Brandon when he's got that going on, look at that. It looks painful, man. So get some deep tissue therapy on it. Get some, I've had it once. I had like a knot in my trap, and they get some what's the ultrasound thing? You know, they put a thing on it. Had it the massage, and it was to release it's like scar tissue. So that is so. Please, guys from his team, please address this because we want to see him have his best chance of success, and we don't want to see him get placed lower just purely because of that. You know, make the judges' job hard. Don't make it easy for them, because if they see that. And it's like, I think that's why Hadi and Brandon and Ramy were brought out at the judging together because, you know, why would they put him next to him when he's got this going on? So, yeah. So I think I saw this and it really annoyed me. And I got a lot of, I put a post actually, I put a comment on here and I got a lot of people coming at me saying, oh, you jelly and all that. And, you know, and people give me thumbs down and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not attacking Hadi. Look at that. Oh no, I've got to get off this. Got to get this off. Yeah, so I'm just trying to help the guy because we want to see him. You know, we want to see Brandon, Ramy, and Hadi. You know, if that's the top three next year, we want to see them, and we want to be able to, you know, scrutinize and you know, and debate who should win. You know, but when that happens and the judges see that, they'll go, right, okay, then well, you're making our job very easy. So anyway, rant over. Right, okay, next hot news is Angel Calderon. Fourth place at the Olympia. He was 10th place in 2019. 2020? 2019. Yes, he was 10th place in 2020. He climbed to fourth place at the Olympia this year. Came in on 4 pro wins. He won Romania, Alicante, British Grand Prix, and I've completely forgotten the other one. But I mean, he is a guy that from Spain who is really, really. He's improved his legs this year, which I'm completely shocked by because I thought if he improved his legs and they got thicker, there's no way he'd be 212, but he's still 212. I mean, there's not. I mean, he's got like Sean Clarida level thickness. Is he bigger than Sean Clarida? What? He's a bit bigger, isn't he? Yeah, but he's not.
He's just smaller.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's 4th place and Sean was 2nd, so they're not exactly miles apart. So the reason I'm bringing up Angel Calderon is we had on Globe Muscle actually with translators with Emilio and the other guy, Javi, the head judge. He's doing Romania. So, and the reason another reason I'm bringing this up is because he is going up against Ole Crivier. Ole Crivier actually beat Angel at the Olympia. Sorry, Angel was 10th in 2019. He was 7th in 2020, and he's climbed to 4th. He's gone 10th, 7th, 4th. In 2020, Ole and Angel competed against each other definitely at Romania, might have been Spain, and Angel was 1st and Ole was 2nd. But at the Olympia, Ole ended up placing ahead of Angel, coming 6th, and Angel came 7th. So they're basically, my point is, they're neck and neck, and they're both going into the Romania Pro. So that's going to make the 212 really, really super exciting now. And Ole is just, he's been working hard all year. I mean, I think he's phenomenal. I really do. Last year, even before the Olympia, I would have said Angel was a little bit ahead, but obviously at the Olympia, where it really counts, that is where Ole actually placed ahead of Angel. So this is going to be a very exciting showdown for the 212 in the Romania, because here's 2 guys, and I think they're part of some sort of same team as well. I saw a video of them supporting each other, which was nice. Where is it? There you go. See, look, there's his teammate. Yeah, look. So he's actually posting and promoting his competition. So I like to. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? How often would you see that happen? There's two guys that probably planned to do these shows, do Romania months ago. So he probably knew that they were going to be standing on stage, and he's actually, he's promoting him. So I like that. It's great. I think that's really wonderful. So fantastic. So so Ole versus Angel I don't know how many times they've competed against each other, maybe 3, 4, 5 times. But it's going to be really, really exciting to see these two go head to head. He's a little bit more kind of X-framed, Ole, whereas Angel's just short and just fucking wide and just thick as hell. But look at that! Tell you what, I can't say who's going to beat who, because they're both going to be very, very hyper conditioned, but 2 quite different styles of physique. They're nice chairs. Right, okay then. So I'm really, like I said, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing these 2 in Romania, and we'll be there in doing maybe some live stream commentary. Oh, I can't keep a secret, can I? No. I can't keep anything to myself. Never tell me a secret. I'll blab it on Global Muscle. Right, okay, then we're coming to... been going a while. Right, okay then. Only got 2 left now. Hassan Mustafa. The reason I'm bringing up Hassan is because I bloody love the guy. The Egyptian freak. I don't know. I think pound for pound, he's as big as Rami. Pound for pound, he is a monster. Been competing all year. We brought him many times on Global Muscle. I'm going to show this picture at the Olympia. He looked good at the Olympia, actually. I was surprised because he didn't look great at the Arnold Classic, where he took 7th. I think it was 7th. And then 2 weeks later, he sharpened up. I didn't expect him to, because he'd been competing a long time, and I thought maybe we were going to start to see a bit of a decline. But it's all that legs. If his legs are conditioned, everything else is. But no, the reason I'm bringing this up is because he actually is giving some information about the KO Squad Pro event. Oh, there's no translate thing. Oh, bugger. No, because on my phone, you could translate this, and it was saying about how something like the president of Egypt was stopping athletes, or there was some, I can't remember now. No, I don't want to turn my phone on because I'll start beeping. But he was saying that this is quite this KO Squad show this weekend in Egypt is actually a bit monumentous because it's never happened before. They've never had a pro event in Egypt. So so they've got, and you've got Shaban, Hassan, Rami's going to be there. I'm assuming Rami's going to be guest posing. Also, I was going to bring the post up from Chad Nichols saying that from December 19th to July 1st, 2021, Ramy didn't train for 7 months after winning the Olympia.
No.
He didn't train at all for 7 months.
I can't believe that.
And Ramy prepped for the Olympia this year on a, well, what's a 3-4 month prep from scratch. And he posted a picture of Ramy looking freaky as hell, as you'd expect, after 4 weeks back in the gym. Do you believe that?
No.
But what? Yeah, but why would Chad Nichols say that then? I love Chad. He's a great guy. But why would he say that? What was the reason for it? And if it was the truth, why say it? Is it just to show how impressive Ramy is? But I don't understand why he didn't train for 7 months. I mean, I've heard someone said he had depression. Or I don't know. Because I don't know. Ramy hasn't really made himself that available this year for interviews or anything. He's done very, very little since becoming Mr. Olympia. He basically stayed in Egypt, and we haven't really heard much out of him.
Maybe he just didn't train the way that he did.
Yeah, but
he really trained harder.
But what I mean, don't get me wrong. The Olympia guys like Ronnie and Kevin Navarone, they would take. I mean, Ronnie used to take like 2-3 months off after the Olympia because these guys train so hard and heavy, and they're battering their bodies, they're pushing their bodies to the limit, and then like a couple of months, 3 months maybe, somebody wouldn't start training maybe till the January. But Ramy didn't train apparently till the July, and I don't understand why. Because if you won the Olympia, surely you'd be buzzing. You got 400k in your bank account and probably getting a decent bonus from your supplement company and good contracts. And, so financially and everything is kind of bloody rosy. So why would you, I don't understand. I don't even know how I can find out more because Ramy is not very, very, very available for comment. He doesn't really respond. I mean, I don't know. I find it weird. So I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but I just thought that was a bit. I just hope he's okay, because if it was depression, I mean, that shows that you can be, you can achieve the absolute pinnacle of success and you can have, mental issues. I hope he's okay because we love Ramy. Ramy's a lovely guy. He's always, when I've met him and stuff like that, and the people around him just adore him. They just think he's like a god, and he's always smiling. He's always got a good vibe about him. And you see thousands of pictures of him with people, and he's always smiling. He always looks like he genuinely wants to be there, whether that's the case, but he looks like it. So I just hope he's okay. I mean, it's, he was back in home in Egypt with his family, and you would have thought that everything was great. You've won the Olympia back in Egypt, with your family, and after being on the COVID thing, But just to hear that, it was a shock. It was a shock to hear that he hadn't trained for 7 months. I was a bit, I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know how I can find out more. So, but anyway, back to this event. The Egyptian show this weekend, it's going to be an incredible show. And I'm hoping it's going to be a big success for them, and we're going to see it grow and come back next year and the year after. And it's nice to see Hassan, Shaban and Ramy at it, attending and competing. Ramy's not competing, but Hassan and Mohammed Shaban are. They'll be there attending. So, yeah. So, want to give, just that's like I said, it was hard to find any information, but I saw that and I pressed the translate, and it said about, so it was a bit of a story there that I wanted to read out, but that's screwed that one. Right, okay. Last hot news is Dan Solomon. It sounds a bit bum licky with this one, but I just want to say I love you, Dan. Can you play some romantic music, please? Honestly, I'm so glad Dan and Jake are in charge of the Olympia. I mean, what Dan's done in the last, since 2019, he took over the Olympia promoter's job in 2019. And it's just that integrity and that passion and that work ethic and the drive, and the love of the history of the Olympia and the real appreciation of it is just, I'm really, really happy that he's in charge. So, he's only been on Instagram a couple of years, he wasn't on it yet. So, sorry? Oh, of course, yeah, because I asked him about it in the interview. So, yeah, Betty Weeder, living legend there. Husband of Joe Weeder. She was the one that named the Olympia, Do you know what they went for? It's actually in the film Bigger. If you go and see it, the Bigger movie. And do you know who played Joe Weeder?
No.
Superman.
No.
Wow, the TV Superman, Tyler Hoechlin. You seen him? You never seen him? Okay. Well, he plays Joe Weeder. I went to see the premiere, and Betty Weeder was there. And I was like, because I didn't even know whether she was still alive. No, I didn't know. So I was like, wow, Betty Weeder, so cool to see her here watching the film that she's, about herself and her story and so she was there. So it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to have that. Anyway, so she named the Olympia after they went for a meeting or something. I forget the part of the film, and they were drinking a beer called Olympia beer, and she said that's what we should call it. When they were setting up the IFBB and setting up the Olympia with Ben, his brother Ben, and everything. Yeah, and she was the one that named the Olympia. So cool. It's a cool story, isn't it? It's a great story. So anyway, God, we're losing light. It's only early. It's only 4:00. Right. Okay. Yeah. Created the Olympia in 1965. I'm proud to spend each day honoring their legacy as our team prepares for the 57th Olympia next month in Orlando. Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's cool. And look at that. Look at that. That is a show. That's not. Wow. That's not the sort of show you see. We'll leave it. Look at that. Look how wide it is. I mean, tell you what, if you've never been to Olympia, get your asses to one. Even if it's just once, do it, please. If you're a bodybuilding fan, just at some point, if you're ever able to get yourself to an Olympia, like if I was in America as a bodybuilding fan, I would never miss one. I would never miss an Arnold Classic, and I'd never miss an Olympia. So, there's people travel from all over the world, from Australia, Europe. All these people sat here, you're seeing here, they're from all over the planet because they want to see the best of the best. And look at that. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I was so sad I couldn't be there this year, but travel restrictions change next week, 2 weeks. November. So in November. So it means now I can go direct to America. I don't have to go via another country for a 2-week quarantine, all that bollocks. So, yep. So there you go. Here we are. Let's see if you can name everyone. There you go. There's Jim Mannion, the boss. And then you got Joe Weider, Ronnie Coleman. That was in 2005. Lee Haney. I don't even name everyone. That was a 1980 Olympia, the Arnold's comeback. Linda Murray. Is that 91 or 92? I'm showing off now, aren't I? Look at that muscular Sandow. The Sandow's jacked up as well now over the years. Yeah, he's definitely got bigger. I'm pretty sure Sandow wasn't that muscular back in 1910 or whatever it was. Flex Lewis, 7-time 212 Olympic champion. Corey Everson. Oh, wow. She's a legend. Adela Garcia. How many fitness Olympias did she win? 7. It was ridiculous. I mean, every year it was like, oh, God, Adela's won again. That was the face-off between... I thought there was going to be some fisticuffs going on. Fisticuffs. Yeah, that's what we say in the UK. I challenge you to a fist fight. I'm going to punch you on the nose. I'm a pugilist. Anyway, Ronnie Coleman. Oh, come on. They could have used a better picture of Ronnie. That was Ronnie in 2007. That was his last year. That was probably... Should have used... Maybe they didn't want to use 2003 Ronnie because it would show everyone up. Ooh, controversial. Because they've used 2009 Jay, I think, there. Or is that 2006? Yeah. Only complaint, guys. You didn't use the best picture of Ronnie Coleman, and he's my best mate. So, sorry, I'm just being silly. That's 83 Munich. Yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm just showing off with my nerdy knowledge. But cool. Love you, Dan. In fact, I remember Dan in Miami 2012, and he said something really nice about me in front of Lou Ferrigno and everyone, and I felt $1 million. I felt 10 feet tall. Yeah. Yep. So look at that. That's cool. There we go. There we are. Yeah. Don't piss any of those guys off. 3 bosses. Yeah. These are the guys. This is Jim Mannion, obviously, and here's the is he vice president, isn't it? Vice. I couldn't think of the term there. Here's the young guy that is doing a fantastic job in the pro league. That will eventually, he'll be the president. So he'll be the number one. So when Jim Mannion actually officially hands it over to him, but he's pretty much doing the job anyway. Tyler, do you know what? I don't think people realize how much work goes in. Like you look at J.M. Mannion. J.M. Mannion's took the photo there, and J.M. Mannion is literally traveling every single week. So and we're talking like flights. So he's away pretty much. I just think, please bear in mind how much work these three people put into the industry that you probably don't even think about. So, but anyway, yeah, they're doing a fantastic job, and yes, and we appreciate that. President and Chief Olympia Officer. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's done a great job, Dan. And the thing is, things with Dan, he's been there in the trenches. He's been the media guy. He's been he's done the PBW 300 episodes. He told me, and that was it's kind of paved the way for what we do kind of here, and kind of carried on. That's what he said. We're passing the torch to people like you, Giles, and and all the work you guys like Ron Harris do and everything, and Lauren, with Buff Bombshell, and we're kind of just keeping that good tradition going for bodybuilding and keeping the positive promotion for the athletes and everything else. And that is it, my friends. Episode 39 of MD Glow Muscle. Hope you've enjoyed it. And we will be back next week with more interviews and show promotion and lots of cool stuff. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out.